dream just to be where you are, in a world I can see where you are, though you are meant to be. Wish you're here next to me, where you are.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's an absolute pleasure to be back for another Rounds broadcast. I'm sad to say, when it comes to the RDR prod side, this looks to be the penultimate for RLCS 2026. But it has been such an honor to be here so far, and of course the job is not finished yet. So here at the desk, you got myself, Sir Pegasus, joined by Rhino.
No, there's a top 2 spot in the region to gain for Rounds before the season is over. And, well, we want to stake our claim right here and right now. Rounds coming off the back of their best open the organization has seen in Rocket League are looking to go one step further this time. It's going to take a monumental effort. It's going to take a lot of work. But if anyone can do it, it's these 3 players that we're going to see on the field today.
They look so good during that open 5. We've spoken about many times how these players look like they're improving every single time we see them, and we were still waiting for that bit of proof that you could not argue against, the real statistics to fall into our lines, Rhino. And top 8 in the open 1 of the Paris Major split certainly helped. A top 4 in the last open certainly did as well. And, well, you are on the mainstream, Rhino. You should be the expert. How would you assess that performance?
It was exceptional. It was exceptional. People have often been talking about Bro Crocros as the 3rd in the region. Last open, I guarantee you that name was Rounds that was on people's minds. We looked by far the best of the rest. Five Fears and Pioneers are those 2 top teams. But Rounds were untouchable, playing against anybody that wasn't those top 2 rosters. And just before we do move on, it's worth mentioning that someone else has made their mainstream debut recently. Shout out to Sir Pegasus for being on APAC this morning. We absolutely love to see it, and I'm sure there will be many, many more for you, pal. You were a natural on there. You deserved the opportunity, and next time it will be in a casting spot, I'm sure.
Well, I don't know how to react to that, so luckily Renshiro is going to give me some time to decide. Let's roll the tape.
Tehdään pieni recappi tosta Open 5 main event viikonlopusta. Renshirotella taas. Tosiaan eka roundi siis Yntsesiä vastaan. Mä prediktasin silloin 3-2 scoren. Mut loppujen lopuksi onnistuttiin voittaa 3-1, että dropattiin vaan 1 peli, joten se oli vahva alku siihen GSL-päivä. Sitten meillä tuli siihen top 6 Upper Bracket Qualification peliin Pioneers. No hävittiin se 3-0, mutta se oli oletettuukin. Mä veikkasin etukäteen kanssa, että Pioneers varmaan voittaa meidät siinä, ja näinhän siinä kävi. Sitten sen jälkeen Lowereissa tuli Looking for Org. Tämäkin matchupin mä olin veikannut etukäteen. Ja siitä sweepi. No voi sit sanoa, että oli aika confidentkin, että silleen saattaa käydä, mutta kuitenkin positiivinen yllätys, kun tiimi, jos on Torres, niin pitää aina respektaa. Kuitenkin ihan hyvä tiimi silleen paperilla, niin 3-0 oli vahva ja päästiin sitten tokaa kertaa putkeen sinne top 8 playoffeihin. Lauantain playoffeissa Team E1 joukkokaverit pelasi ekaa kertaa niiden top 6 qualification peliin, niin se on ihan ymmärrettävää, että siinä oli aluksi vähän paineita, niin vastustaja tuli aika vahvasti. Et me hävittiin 2 peliä ja ne oli mun mielestä Game 2 ja 3, jotka me molemmat hävittiin tyyliin silleen, että me ei saatu yhtään maalia. Mut sit Game 4 me voitettiin jatkoajalla ja sit sen jälkeen voitettiin aika selkeä lukemilla. Niin voitettiin 4-2, päästiin Championship Sundaylle top 6 peleihin. Sitten sunnuntaina Astronic. Sekin oli taas silleen, että kun mä heräsin aamulla, niin mä ajattelin, että tää on varmaan Game 7 päivä. Astronicin Inspire oli kans low pingillä, eli kaikki pelasi siinä matsissa matalalla pingillä. Odotus oli se, että tulee olemaan todella tiukka sarja, mutta ei oikein tuntunut ja näyttänyt siltä, että kenelläkään olisi mitään paineita meidän joukkueessa. Pelattiin ihan täysin oma peli ja sitten voitettiin ihan sweepillä 4-0 BO7, niin se oli tosi vahva. Semifinaali ekaa kertaa kaikille, jopa mulle, oli mun ura ensimmäinen RLCS top 4. Missään regionassa eka semifinaali, niin siinä tuli sitten Afrikan selkeä kärki ykköstiimi Five Fears vastaan. Pistettiin ihan hyvä fightti, voitettiin 2 peliä, hävittiin se sarja 4-2. No ihan odotetusti, että on ne syystäkin se ykköstiimi, joka majoreille on taas menossa. Et se ehkä millä tavalla me voitettiin 2 peliä oli puolustuksen kautta, että hyökkäyspäätä pitää pystyä vähän vahvistamaan vielä noita top-tiimejä vastaan, että saadaan pidettyä paremmin paine. Sen jälkeen aletaan olla kyllä aika lähellä sitä vaihetta, että voidaan olla täys haastaja tuohon Afrikan ihan kärkispottiin, mutta ainut häviöt sekä Scrimeissä että itse RLCS Open 5 aikaan, niin Five Fiersille ja Pioneersille vaan niin todella vahvat 2 viikkoa, siis ei mitään negatiivista sanottavaa. Tässä oli tää mun recap nyt. Kiitos kun katsotte video, laittakaa Roundsin kaikki somet hallottuun, seuratkaa Twitchiä kans, kun sieltä tulee ne pelilähetykset. Nähdään sitten seuraavassa videossa, morjens!
It's great to see a smile on his face, and ever since we've started interviewing Renshiro after Opens, his performances have gotten even better, which is a great sign, because imagine one day we just top 16 bomb out, and then unfortunately poor Renshiro is forced to pull out the phone and make an interview. He's played well enough that we have not had to settle for those tough cases, but what I found particularly fascinating about his analysis about that last Open is he spoke about the respect that he was giving LFO, which he did in his predictions as well before that GSL stage began. But also he was talking about, you know, we got swept by Pioneers, that was as expected. We lost to Five Fears, that was as expected. And I did feel like he was giving himself somewhat of a disservice, especially when we were talking about that Five Fears versus Rounds in the semi-final. That was a Game 6 finish, and Rounds put up a better fight against Five Fears than even Pioneers did in that grand final, who got swept out the park, and that wasn't a particularly close grand final.
Horrible to watch, to be honest with you, that grand final in the last Open. But yeah, Rounds absolutely really made it difficult for Five Fears, and that's not something that a lot of people in this region can say. Going all the way through to game number 6 was a huge achievement. There is one line that I find particularly interesting in Renshiro's analysis, is that he thinks the defense is what is winning them those games against the higher teams, and it's the offense that they need to work on. From an outsider's perspective, from someone who's watched the games over the course of 2 Opens now, I personally disagree with that. I've seen a couple of moments where the defense looks that little bit more shaky. The double commits, certainly from Onozuma and Marzi, have been a little bit suspect. Now, they've been cleaning that up, don't get me wrong, but there are still those moments, and that's what I would like to see cleaned up a little bit on defense before moving forwards and starting to work on the offense, which already is seriously starting to sink.
To give him some credit, though, when we're talking about those top teams, the defense was pretty impressive for the most part against Five Fears, I would say. Of course, the goals that do sneak through, they're always going to be the odd few mistakes. I feel like it's about not being in defense in the first place, and I feel like that's more what he might be alluded to when it comes to controlling that strong offense. But all those aims aside, that's going to be what we're going to be looking out for here in the Swiss stage. And do I dare say it, Rhino? Do I dare say it? This is the first time in a group stage
Why are you doing
where
this?
I've looked at our position, I've looked at our seeding, and thought we could 3-0 this bracket. We certainly can. This looks like a much easier selection than we've been used to. There's been lots of roster changes in between Open 5 and the final one here. Teams do not have that chemistry anymore. Synthesis isn't here. That's the team I'm really worried about when it comes to the chemistry, because they've stuck since Open 1. We've stuck since Open 2. We're going to play in that first round a team that has made a complete change of the roster outside of their imports. So yes, no round 5s. We got a round 4 finish last time. Let's prove upon it even more. We're a top 4 team.
I hope none of you have anything planned for the rest of the evening, because Pegasus has just confirmed that we are in for a long old day, and we do actually have our opponents in the first round in chat as well. Astronic Esports dropping the to what Pegasus has just mentioned, which yeah, I think is fair enough, because that is absolutely outrageous that you've just said that. I can't believe it. You need to understand our position here is basically just to cast a curse everything. But speaking of that first game of the day, we are going to take a look at the matchup. It's Astronic versus Rounds, and it's a very new look Astronic compared to what we are used to seeing. Devour and Skillsteel have left, leaving Inspire, who is playing from the Netherlands now. He is no longer in South Africa, playing with Galaxy and Mercury to face the Rounds roster, which is unchanged since Open 2. Renshiro, Onozuma, and Marzi.
And I wonder what that matchup was that ended up having this Astronic roster completely blow apart and restart. That being said, I do just want to give some respect to Skill still, because not only did he announce that he would be leaving Astronic, he announced his retirement as well, and that's a very seasoned vet when it does come to Sub-Saharan Africa, so full respect for himself. And we just got word in chat that Rin is going to be filling in for Inspire today, so actually a lot more movement happening on the Astronic side than we expected at first. Whether that impacts your predictions, ladies and gentlemen, well, make sure to decide now, because that is up and running in the Twitch chat at the moment.
Certainly makes mine look a lot better, which we'll talk about in just a moment, but absolutely, yeah. So Rin going to be filling in for Inspire. I think it is tough for Inspire. I know he definitely wanted a strong performance and rounds. Well, we laid waste to that in Open 5, that's for sure. But yeah, well, it'll be interesting to see how things go with Galaxy Mercury and now Rin taking to the field. But Rounds will be joining us in Swiss with a lot of confidence, a lot of faith that they are going to be able to basically take down this bracket as well as they possibly can. And that mentality of having those dangerous moments under the lights and with having all that pressure on top of them, it feels like they're starting to go beyond that now as a unit, as a roster, and it's nice to see.
Yeah, and it definitely will factor in our predictions heading into this next game, and we have had a bit of fun with that this time around. Look at this gorgeous screen, courtesy of RDR Prod Hazza himself. We've got the opinions, of course, of your usual RDR Prod participants. Hazza, as per usual, will stay hiding behind the VMix call, but Renshiro, Greybeard, and Bromeo are going to have some words for himself. But let's start off with the one at the top left. It's my very own prediction. This is a new Astronic side. This was before the knowledge, of course, of a substitute being used in this first round. It wouldn't have changed my prediction anyway, because throw it up on screen. It is going to be a very simple 3-0 for Rounds. We swept them in the lower bracket, and that was the team they stuck with. Now, after a roster change, I would feel foolish to go anywhere else.
Absolutely. If we can sweep them in a best of 7, we can absolutely sweep them in a best of 5. You can throw out my prediction as well. I'm not moving anywhere other than that 3-0 sweep. I get the feeling that Rounds are just on another level right now, both mentally and in game. And this is going to be the first game for us to prove that.
And next we do have Quanzek, who could be joining us later, but if Rounds get through this bracket too quickly, unfortunately, there might be a change put to that. But I'm curious of what his opinion was whilst he was in the middle of a snowstorm driving across the US in second gear. It's 3-0 yet again. Still waiting for someone to change it. Will Mr. PR himself be generous enough to give Astronic a game?
That's going to be the thing, isn't it? I mean...
Yes, he is.
Of course he is. Renshiro is going to drop the 3-1. Look, and Renshiro is absolutely right. You know, Astronic do still have very solid players. Galaxy and Mercury have been in the SSA scene for a long while, but the fact of the matter is he still expects to get that win over the line, even if they might give up a game. Although, knowing now that Inspire won't be playing and Rin is playing instead, I do wonder if that would have changed his outlook.
And now we're moving on to turned professional Sub-Saharan Africa player. He has earnings of a minimum of 100 USD now, thanks to that fantastic performance he had yesterday. It's, of course, Greybeard of Fellow Kids, the Vibe Director himself. What has he written in the script for his prediction? The 3-1 as well, equaling that of Frenchiro. That is very, very respectable. But the last one is the one we're waiting for, Rhino, realistically. It is the number 1 op of the RDR Prod round stream. What has Bromeo got to say?
Now, something we do have to consider is the Bromeo factor going into this open, because in the one open that Bromeo was not on mainstream, Rounds got top 4. Coincidence? I think not. So we've brought Bromeo in early, and you know what? We're going to get a little bit of a drum roll for this one before we reveal it. Can we have the drum roll, please?
Oh. Oh, we gotta do it, okay.
A man converted. Love to see it.
Welcome to the green side, Bromeo. Welcome to the green side. Only 2 games have been given to Astronic over 6 series. That's not enough to even win one of which coming from Renshiro, the other coming from Greybeard, but with an overwhelming majority, it's a 3-0 sweep prediction. And I'm curious whether Renshiro or Greybeard would be changing their mind if they were aware at the time that there was going to be a substitute used for. I do also want to reiterate for this first round only. So it has been somewhat of a blessing here on our primary stream, but Think has just mentioned something in chat that I have not considered right now. If we now go on to lose, and I've been speaking about, you know, a 3-0 Swiss, and everyone has predicted a sweep.
Yeah.
I don't want to say that would look bad on us, but it would look pretty awful. It would look.
Look,
we might have earned a few Bromios to replace the last one.
I need you to understand how much aura I have already lost today by predicting Kenotrope in the APAC Grand Final, all right? There is no way I can physically lose any more aura than trying to predict that and getting absolutely killed for that one on the APAC mainstream. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go back and check the VOD. You should pay attention to it. But hey, Astronic saying they've taken the screenshot. I get the feeling that screenshot is not going to be posted anywhere after this game, to be honest with you, Pegasus. I think they're going to keep that one in a folder somewhere and check it again in 10 years and go, oh, remember when they were right? Oh, that was a shame.
That's what we call Twitter draft shovelware. It's just going to stay there forever. No one ever clears their drafts. That one's going to stay there for quite some time. And we've just clipped that as well. You know what? I'll give you something. Hello, Astronic Twitter. Is this on your social media? I bet it isn't, because I know that we have just swept you. Round 1. What's the date today? 12th of April 2026, round 1 of Swiss stage, open 6 of the Paris split. We are about to sweep you, mark my words, and this will be only heard on the rounds broadcast because you're not brave enough to post on Twitter. In fact, hello rounds GG Twitter, because it's going to be posted there instead.
Oh, I hate it. I hate it with a burning passion, but I don't hate what's about to happen. The sentient lower third is present, folks. We love to see it. We love to see it. Yeah, this is this is
I'm
going.
not nervous.
I'm really nervous now. Actually, I really hope the players aren't watching this. I really hope the players aren't watching this, because that could lead to some problems. But I mean, Grossloop is in the chat. He's brought out the dinosaurs, so you know, I'm sure the vibes are high in the VC. Apparently we are just waiting for Astronic to check in. So Astronic, if you're in chat, if you wouldn't mind just telling your players to actually, you know, get the check-in sorted, and so we can actually play the game, so we don't have to, you know, get the DQ victory, which would be a bit embarrassing. That would be really nice. You wouldn't mind? Thank you.
I've just been informed that my wife went against rounds. Well, it's fine, because if we lose, she's not going to be my wife for much longer. It's as simple as that. I bleed green, ladies and gentlemen. And I need to make sure that everything in my life is all different rounds paraphernalia. But yes, we are going to be waiting for that check-in, but once we get into that series, I do know that all the players have been here to watch that little segment, so I am excited. But overall, let's have a look at the rest of the brackets here. Of course, you see Astronic, you see White Rabbit Gaming, Unity, all in those higher place spots. Of course, Pioneers are always going to be a mention. But for me, Rhino, there's a bit of focus on Stanislas. Not particularly in this first round, but I was extremely impressed with what I saw in that last open from 3 pretty unknown Reunion players.
Yeah, listen, Reunion are definitely standing tall and standing up. And the fact that they are the highest seed in the lowest bracket, gives them a really tough matchup first time round against the Pioneers. We have been there. We know how it feels. Don't worry about it, lads. But Yeah, I mean, Zion, Clays, and Smashy, I was really impressed, as you rightly say, with what I've seen from those. And the community building in Reunion is something to be cherished. We've seen Pony no Jutsu start to, well, certainly last season, come to the forefront with the likes of Teshao, with the likes of Eagle. And I think a lot of Reunion players kind of realized that they could do it, realized that they had the opportunity to push forwards, get good at the game, and really make a difference in RLCS. And now, especially with that 2/3 rule, they're absolutely killing it. So the more Reunion players that we can see, the better. It's really nice to see. And yeah, there we go. So hopefully we can see even more Reunionese players take to the field.
And if you want to talk about how favourable that this Swiss stage is for us, I was looking out for 2 letters on this particular graphic that I cannot see, and that is, of course, FK, also known as Fellow Kids. It's a new up-and-coming team made up of top 8 caliber. It's got 6 and Banana Cat on the roster, and rounding that off, they've got, you know, a very mechanical, young, fresh talent that I've heard goes by the name of Greybeard. So that is going to be one to look out for. Just made their first ever piece of earnings, and it is a swift run into the 3 digits. 100 USD already earned for each of those players, including the new kid on the block.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can actually, if you want to open a second tab and see how Fellow Kids are doing, there is a POV stream on Greybeard GG for his run in the Swiss as well, if you want to check out the newcomer to the scene. We've not really seen him play in this region before, so it's a lot of fun to see new talent taking to the field, and with such classic players like Banana Cat and Six. This is going to be a team to watch, that's for sure. But speaking of watching, we will be able to watch this game happen very, very soon, because finally Astronic have checked in. They've stopped beefing us in chat, and they've spoken to their players, and now, oh no, they're still there. They're still there.
They said always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure. You know what? I feel bad. I feel bad for calling them out. It is always a pleasure, Astronic. You guys are doing things, trying to do things the right way as best as you can, and that is really good to see. And have always been a supporter of the SSA scene, so it's nice to see when Astronic are performing well. I don't think you will today. Sorry, lads. I think it's time for rounds to absolutely demolish you. Let's absolutely get into it. I want to see the server start, and I want to see some rounds play very, very soon.
Absolutely. Very excited to see what these players are going to be capable of in this first round against such an interesting roster. But rounds have only gotten improved open by open. This is going to be their final chance as one of those teams to look out for. There's a target on our backs. This is how a top 4 team makes GSL.
We have got 6 players in the server. It's time to get things underway. It's Swiss Sunday here in SSA for Open 6, the last Open of the year. And already Astronic starting to present a kickoff strategy. I thought I saw my Twitter career flash before my eyes there, Pegasus. But luckily Rounds managed to get the better of them, take a shot, and Marzi can't find the finish just yet.
Orenshiro already chasing on his own corner, will pop this one high. He's also got that Drivers of the Day accolade to hold on to with that excellent performance he had on the Saturday of the playoffs. Marzi as well got his own rounds MVP heading into that final spot with that excellent GSL performance he had for himself. It's just a great time to be a Rounds fan when all these 3 players are clicking into place. But the first minute looks to come to an end. Mercury has been forced to make the first real serious save of the game.
Yeah, we've seen this a couple of times from Rounds where they just do put a lot of pressure on their opposition. I don't like the positioning right there with all 3 players deep in Astronic's territory, but they do make it work. Marzi, I thought, was going to get the fake there, but Rin with a good interception. Coming down the side here for Galaxy, and on Azuma next up, he doesn't win the 50. There's a chance for Mercury to drive through, gets the reset, looking to drop it down. Marzi from out of nowhere gets a really good block, and now Rounds trying to escape into the opposition's half, and they do.
Mercury pinches across, tries to trace behind this ball, sees 2 Rounds plays ahead of him, flicks over 1, but Marzi can keep it close. The 50 is good against Mercury, but the follow-up is where action needs to be made, and Onozuma is the one who is called to it. Rin All turn fast. Marzi keeps the ball in this corner. That's safety for Astronic, especially when they can find possession. And Galaxy, Mercury have taken turns to pick that up in that spot. Still not been able to advance past the round's final defender. As Onozuma at first, and Shiro now will fully collect.
It's fair to say Rin's been playing pretty well to come into this Astronic team as the substitute. Good start to this first series of the day for Rin. Mercury collecting. Oh, doesn't get that reset. And again, you can tell that by the reset indicator not coming through on the bottom of the car. This could be a pass down. Oh my goodness, dangerous positioning. Onozuma makes a save on the goal line, but now Astronic asking a lot of questions. Rounds have a lot of answers for the moment, but they really need to build some offense of their own. They can't do so with Mercury pre-jumping like that.
Marzi, though, sends it forward. Galaxy clears towards the corner. You said it was dangerous positioning defensively for Rounds. It was offensively for Astronic as well. There were two players playing so high in that position that if Rounds were able to get that better clearance, this would have been 1-0 in their favour, but it's no more ifs, buts and maybes. The plays have to match on the pitch. Marzi needs to make that block, and he can see that Mercury's coming close for the pounce. Lands it off that back wall. Galaxy, guard seek it inside. Was that a save from Mercury?
And I think it might have been saved his own teammate's shot, and Rounds are going to be thankful of it because it was a powerful one as well. Difficult to save. And Shiro tried to find a way through, just wasn't able to. Onozuma's got the boost steal. Won't matter when Galaxy wins the 50. Onozuma looking for the pass back, but there's so many Astronic players in the round's half. It's so dangerous right now. Once again, Onozuma trying to break the lines. He just can't get that extra touch. Marzi with nothing in the tank will get a good 50. And the clearance is through. But Mercury's high. The positioning for Astronic so far in this game has been nothing short of extraordinary. And now Renshiro trying to clear away, can't do so. Onozuma going to be next up, gets it over the top of one, can't find Mercury. More excellent transitional play and positioning from Astronic.
Pinches across, and Mercury has to land that against Renshiro. Onozuma's up early. It's one of those confident challenges that we like to say we appreciate him going for. But Marzi looking a bit more solid in possession. The flip reset was heading towards that top corner. Saved by Mercury. They're not out of woods. Onozuma has gone for that inside pass to Renshiro. Keeps it within that dangerous spot. Marzi will continue to press high. You can feel Rounds are looking for this goal in regulation. They're not wasting time by any means. Galaxy, though, will bump away Onozuma. It's going to be tough for Astronic to find that inside space, but they fancy their chances. Marzi has shut it down, and that is a crucial clearance from Onozuma. Caught by Renshiro off that backboard again. He won't follow it up, but certainly Onozuma will. No goal still, 30 seconds of regulation.
Rounds showing their speed on transition, but there's a demo on the backlines. Marzi still has control. He's got Galaxy to try and beat, and he does, but there's a player behind him. That's Mercury out of the corner. Rounds trying to apply that pressure once again. Oh, that's not a great touch coming through, but Renshiro might make the most of it. Ball in the corner, surely not OT in game number one. Ball off that right-hand side. Galaxy might try and make sure that it doesn't go OT. The ball does eventually drop, and it will be golden goal after a 0-0 regular time.
And the gamble of a century that we did beforehand already has its first nervy affair. It goes high. Rin does get that first stop. Onozuma gets two crisp touches there. Marzi just wants to find it across. Instead, it spills towards Rounds' possession, but ends up clearing away to a dominated third of Astronic. Renshiro makes that first real block in OT. And now it's a chance for our first attack. Mercury, though, tries to slow it down.
And again, Astronic's transition, the way that they're able to rotate is looking really good right now. Galaxy takes a shot. Marzi, it's a relatively easy save for the likes of Marzi. Of course, also known as Willant. This one drops down. There's a chance on front of goal. Galaxy will save away. Astronic just being solid, just being difficult to break down. And Rounds have not found the key just yet. Onozuma wanting an extra touch. Not finding it. Mercury drives forwards. Marzi blocks away. Tries to keep possession. Wins the 50. Forced forwards. He just can't catch up to the ball. Once the pinch middle isn't going to get contact, but he will get the boost steal. That could lead to Rounds staying in this half, but they decide to back away.
Renshiro Knocks it across, and it will be a self-setup. Marzi had bailed away. Now wants to pick up the pieces of that touch. Mercury not going to get that second touch for himself. Marzi's got a redirect opportunity. Instead, pass it back down, just too wide of Renshiro. And that'll be a turnover in possession in a dangerous spot. It's a great flick. And Mercury will open up the series. No sweeps over here.
Yeah, really poor from rounds in the end. Marzi has to go over, feels like he has to go over, sorry, to go and get that 100 boost, but it's just a misread. Renshiro's not back to make the defensive play, and the press coming through from Astronic is really impressive. The way that they were able to keep up that pressure, you can see right there, Galaxy and Mercury working together so well. All of the statistics going in favor of Astronic, and they absolutely deserve it. They looked absolutely brilliant in game number 1.
That was such a good flick from Mercury as well to close it down. We've seen a few creative flicks start to sneak their way to the game. I love that first replay. Thank you very much, Hazza. But we saw Tempo pull one off in EU. I can't quite remember the name. I believe it's Lufa Flick. When you turn yourself around, you flick it off the floor and you somewhat get a ground pinch. That felt very Lufa Flick-esque with the way he was able to catch it. Didn't have the pinch though, and instead generated so much power. And the round's defense was clearly very caught off guard. And those are players that are pretty experienced when it comes to those positions with their 1v1 history.
Yeah, they are. But they've also been spending a lot of time together and to play in that 3v3 setting. And what you saw there was just what I called upon at the start of the whole stream, actually, which is the double committing coming through from the defense of rounds. And we still see that is going to be an issue moving forwards. Now, there's a microscope on it because, of course, that was the only goal scored and it was in overtime. And you can talk about that for sure. If it happens in the regular game, then who knows? Who knows what happened? It looks like the server has gone down, so we will just look for a server reset. But look, by the same token, I think we would be remiss to say that Astronic didn't deserve to win that game number 1. I think they were absolutely the better team, and rounds, I think as soon as they score a goal, they'll be fine, but they've got to get that first one over the line.
They're too used to being in the top 8 in the main events now. They just assume the first lobby they go into is a test. No, rounds, you got to kick yourself into gear. There's no test lobbies when it comes to the Swiss stage. I know it's been a while, but you got to hit the ground running. So I expect sweeps from here on out, but that is going to require a bit more of a confident step up from rounds and a breaking of what has been a very solid Astronic defense.
Yeah, absolutely. If Astronic win this game number 2, though, we are getting mean to high heaven. Goodness gracious.
Oh, gosh.
Mercury
don't.
Looking to pop this one up. Rin trying to take it through, who did have a quiet game number 1. Played his role very well, don't get me wrong. Again, coming in as that substitute. Not expected to be the star player of the roster, but certainly a good showing in game 1. Marzi out of the corner. Onizuma will look to flick it forwards. Renshiro's going to be there, probably looking for a backboard. That's exactly what he goes for. In fact, it waterfalls down. Mercury clears away. Good positioning again from Astronic.
And it is cleared across. Mercury left alone, but 100 boost has spawned right on his lap. Renshiro still is going to be able to wrap round. The demo comes through. The shot is there from Onizuma. But Rin, the super substitute, manages to pull off that save. And speaking of him, he has fit in so nicely alongside the rest of the team so far in the series. Onizuma forced to make a save, had that aforementioned player going for the demo on his part. Instead, he gets some revenge, lands it on Galaxy, but there's no follow-up. The play too close to the goal line. It's a simple save for Astronic.
Yeah, it is. Rin looking for a flick. He gets the demo. Renshiro goes by, able to flick it around the corner and get a clearance as well. But something that's really impressed me with the way that Astronic have been playing is they don't really care about rounds transition. As soon as they lose the ball, they just go 3 players onto their goal line and go, beat us. We'll put this wall up. If you can break it down, fair enough. You deserve it. But we are going to make it as difficult as possible to break us down. And that's exactly what they've done. And rounds at the moment, I've said it before, haven't had an answer for it. Mercury, almost going to beat Onizuma in the air, but he gets some contact. Renshiro does really well not to play that up the wall because Rin was waiting. Misstep from Onizuma. And now it's a bit awkward. Eventually, Marzi might not have called a name, but he certainly took the ball first to clear it downfield.
Rin 50'd off by Renshiro. Mercury still going to be able to catch on a second man press. Onozuma has been dumbfounded by that first touch. Renshiro back to Onozuma. Wants it inside, but Marzi isn't there. That one somewhat overcooked. Galaxy's kept it simple, flown it towards net, off that back, but it's red. The crossbar is his, but Renshiro with the solid 20 ping 50 from Cape Town. Make sure to bring that one to safety. Marzi towards that waterfall. Now it's danger for Astronic. Mercury is called to action off his lines. Marzi's been able to steal that 100. Rin has no cards to play with. And Onozuma brings himself forward. Renshiro with a shot. Another save from Galaxy.
Rounds got away with absolute murder there. And now they've really got to try and capitalize on it, because when you're given an opportunity like that, when you're given the chance to make a save when you really should not have been, the best thing to do after that is to score the next goal, because Astronic are going to feel quite confident about it. Oh my goodness, Mercury, what an outrageous pre-jump. The way he's read that is insane. Galaxy will push this to the corner. Onozuma will keep the play alive. Renshiro's gone a bit beyond the play. 1 minute 20 to go. Round still trying to find a way through the Astronic defense, but it stands resolute. And now a third man press. That's awkward. Renshiro, it's not going to look too good if they score here, and it won't. Rin gets the finish, top right corner. Oh dear, oh dear.
And it's Renshiro who's the player who ends up setting it up for them. Mercury uses the opponent's card positioning completely to his favor. It's a wonderful strike coming from Rin as well. But for him, that's tutorial level. Marzi with the demo vote calls for a quick response from Rounds off the kickoff. 50's low. Marzi's tight, as is Renshiro. That is fortunately not on target, but it's still a clear-cut attack for Astronic. Mercury plays it off the ceiling. No one is looking to chase for Astronic. Happy with just a 1-goal lead. Rounds have to make them regret that in the next 40 seconds.
Yeah, but it's going to be tough. It's not anymore. Finally, Rounds break the dam. Play off that left-hand side. Clearance away from Mercury, but it's not a controlled touch. Galaxy on the goal line can't do anything. And Marzi fires just under the crossbar. How important is that going to be for the confidence of Rounds? Because I think it's fair to say, as mentioned in chat, they look a little bit nervy. They look a little bit shaky. But now that they've got a goal, now that they've at least found something to hang on to, how will that affect their gameplay? Let's see if Onozuma has the confidence. He's not got any boost.
Renshiro, though, has a gorgeous first touch. Might have a follow-up opportunity. The bump is there! But the call isn't made, and Marzi ends up slotting himself in the back of the nets. And that's not going to be deciding this game whatsoever. Onozuma plays that very far forward. Renshiro really has to stretch himself to even get a touch. Marzi going for the off-angle pass. It's inside. He keeps it up. And on 0 seconds, Round pulls the game back. The series is brought to equality. And it was chaos on the goal line for what has been otherwise a very organised defence from Astronic.
I was about to say that. Astronic have been borderline perfect on defense for 2 games straight. But a double commit on that near post leads to absolute calamity. And in the end, Marzi converts before letting that ball touch the floor. That's a heartbreaker. That is one that Astronic are going to look back on and go, we should have won that game. We should have been in a better position. We should have at least taken it to OT. It didn't happen for them. And Rounds are going to be wiping the sweat off their brow after being, well, pretty much gifted a victory, really. They did have to take it. This goal from Marzi is very, very solid. Good foundational shot. But this goal right at the death was all Astronic's making.
But to give some credit to Rounds, they did have a majority of the attack in that game. They just were not finding the back of the net. That was the clear difference there. Astronic just played a very solid defensive game, but I don't want anyone to be looking at that last one and thinking, you know, that's scary. Ostronic could have stolen that game away at any time. They looked the better team. I would not go as far to say that. It was just that the score sheet remained so close and constantly within 1 and none that gave you that slight fear that Ostronic could catch rounds on the counter. But if you were calling for a team to score more goals than others, it was simply rounds in that last game. I would say that is a deserved win for them, and as much as a lot of focus is going to be on that 0-second goal where Ostronic were pretty disjointed amongst the three of them, I would actually say that was one of the better defenses I have seen at this level of the game, where you have three players sit close to their goal line and you don't get that sense that there's too many cooks in the kitchen. They were not tripping on each other's feet. They constantly made sure that backboard was covered, and oftentimes that has been a weakness for players that play that sit on the goal line and kumbaya. They forget about that verticality and then get punished rather quickly, and you would be against this round's roster if that were the case. That is not the case. Game 3 is underway and rounds have to start again in terms of breaking that tough defense.
And Marcy getting a little bit of a bump early, and you just get the impression that things might start feeling a little bit different for rounds now after getting their feet under them, settling down, remembering how to play Rocket League. That's the most important thing. Marzi over to that left side. Onizuma will not challenge, will decide to go back, and for me that's decent decision making. You've got to build on the attacks that you believe have the opportunity to progress, and on this occasion this is absolutely the right thing to do. Just sit back, give it a moment. And now Renshiro's going to try and explode down the left-hand side, looking for a bump on the play. It's gone a waterfall. Oh! The third man has pressed, though. Ostronic can't capitalize in time.
And I hope that the Have Fun meta is in play now for rounds, because I need to see a bit of confidence behind them. Marzi up with that 50. Mercury will send it down deep, and Onizuma cannot second think this touch. Does so well to keep it close to his car and get the extra push towards that sidewall. But now Galaxy in the central space is stopped by Onizuma yet again.
Yeah, and now Onizuma going to try and build down this right side. Good block off from Renshiro. He needs to find the pass. Actually, that's going to just fall in front of the Ostronic net. Nothing more will happen as Onizuma pops it high. Renshiro, backboard, double, looking for help. Oh. He's got it. Onizuma, top left corner. Rounds starting to sing.
And well, when you need players to be full of confidence, there's one player that certainly exuberates that in his brightest moments, and that's Onizuma. Those the mechanics of Renshiro to set up the play entirely. But Onizuma knew he could trust his teammate and step up the pitch. Marzi now, flip reset, down low, the ground belongs to him, but saved again by Galaxy. This has been such a defensive matchup between these two teams. The mistakes have not been common, but when they do present, that's been the decider. Renshiro wants to break through, but Rin catches off a 50.
Yeah, it does. Now ball played high on the left-hand side. No challenge means a pass inside. And that is rounds starting to find their form. Great work from Onizuma. Galaxy decides not to challenge, regrets that decision immediately. Renshiro cuts in front of the man, and that will be 2-0. Rounds just feeling like they might have figured it out.
And I hope that remains the case. Of course, we know how much these scales love to tip, especially in SSA this season, where it has been at its most competitive. Ball inside, balls to Marzi, bashes it high. Mercury again goes for one of those pre-jumping plays, does get the block, and now Rin a time towards that left wall, but no resources to take it past Onizuma, who still remains local despite the lack of his own. Galaxy shot on. Marzi has to get that first block. Renshiro needs to pop it over one. Now Onizuma has had time to get behind, and rounds feel like they're in a safe position.
Yeah, they do. And it's interesting that Spooky's come into chat and mentions that they had to get the energy up, because absolutely right. That's a difficult thing to do right at the start of a Swiss day, which could be a long day for the players. You know, you're looking at playing against Ostronic, and no disrespect to Ostronic, they had a good day yesterday, but based on our predictions and based on everything that's happened in SSA in the last couple of weeks, Rounds should be beating this Astronic team. And to go into game number 1 and be met with the outright defense that you see from Astronic there, maybe Rounds weren't expecting that, and maybe the vibes had dropped a little bit after losing that game 1. But now, suddenly, things are starting to feel that little bit better. Galaxy going over the top, off the backboard, but pushed away by Marzi. Astronic will come again, but eventually Onizuma will clear the lines.
Onizuma pops up, looks for some extra touches, has to work his way into the box. Mercury doesn't let it happen unless it's going to be that one on the opposite side. Renshiro has to be the one to put a stop. Did temporarily slam on the brakes there, realised that it was his responsibility to step forward. Marzi has just been hanging around and creating as much chaos as possible. Mercury's 2 touches do find a player who's not well equipped to get that shot on net at a time where Astronic desperately need to find one.
Yeah, they do. 40 seconds to go. Don't want to give Rounds game point here. But it's fair to say, Astronic haven't really created too many clear-cut chances that Rounds haven't been able to deal with and work out a solution to. And there's another one. Double commit on the goal line. Rin looking for a redirect, but Onizuma gets in front. 20 seconds remain. Astronic running out of time to try and bring this game back under their control.
And Rounds been happy to sit back in this final minute. They haven't taken too many risks, and at times those double commits have seeped in, but they've always had that third player behind them to get that final block. So even if there is a goal at this stage on 0 seconds, regardless, the game's result is decided. Rounds put themselves on match points.
Yeah, it sure is. And as Grossloop said in the chat as well, Have Fun meta has been activated. They're going to feel pretty good now. A shutout victory in game number 3. And that should be it. Just to bring you updates from around the rest of our group. Unity Esports took down La Masia 3-0. La Passion took out Mzansi Magicians 3-0. AAA Batteries actually got a DQ victory against Udabeshbro. And then Death Cloud Esports took down, doing it for Apocalyptics 3-0. And I believe there's also a reporting of Marine Region taking down Next. Currently reported as 2-1. I'm sure that will be 3-1 very, very shortly. But hopefully so will this one as well, Pegasus.
Absolutely. How about 5 minutes of regulation? That will do me nicely. We can have at least someone making a correct prediction. I mean, we had 6 chances. It would be pretty embarrassing if not a single one was correct. But I can't think of anyone more fitting than Greybeard and Renshiro to be the correct 2 out of that bunch of 6. However, ladies and gentlemen, that still has to be proven on the pitch. Renshiro can control his own predictions' destiny here in Game 4.
He certainly can. And Marzi with the early flick off the crossbar, follow through, bang! That's a bright start for Rounds. Not looking to go to Game 5. Not wanting to make it difficult for us. 5 seconds, 1-0.
Simple. That's exactly what we like to see. It's not very often where we're on the positive end of a kickoff goal. But that has slowly changed as time has gone on for this round's roster. The set pieces have been put to work by the 2 coaches. And now play settles back into regular Rocket League. Astronic have been given that head start against them, but now have plenty of time to try and make that comeback. And I'll be interested to see if that's going to ignite a more offensive play style compared to what we've seen before.
It will. Marzi just trying to pick up a challenge here. Oh, Rin with a big interception on Azuma. Doesn't have any boost to work with. And will get found out because of it. The 50-50. In fact, it was more of a 50-50-50 with 2 Astronic players marching down towards that ball. Not really sure what Onizuma is meant to do, because if he try and puts it into the corner, he's going to get 50'd. If he try and plays it out, he's going to get 50'd. So, caught between a rock and a hard place. The leveler, 1-1.
Chances were 100-0, all favour of Astronic. They did well to earn themselves that position, though. Rounds just were not that step ahead. Game of chess match lost, but that's when you start picking up the pieces, throwing it back at them. Renshiro already getting a bit physical with that first demo post-kickoff. And we are only a minute down in this game, and it already feels like it's had plenty of action to go off of. This could be a very different dynamic compared to what we've seen for the rest of the series, but that's what being on your final live can do to your players. Stronic will feel that pressure right now. Renshiro's 50 doesn't land nicely. Rin can't get past Onizuma this time, and he has the composure to stay step forward. Defense turns to offense. Marzi has to cut inside, and now it's a Stronic who are looking to escape.
Really dangerous. Renshiro's turned on that. I wouldn't have done. Marzi is all the way back. He's reversing, but he's actually found the pass. Renshiro back to Marzi. Oh, no, just saved. Onizuma at the angle. He finds the pass down. It's all action in front of the Astronic goal. Can Rounds find a way through? Onizuma, whether it was a fake or a miss, it faked out his teammates as well. The pinch middle from Galaxy won't be found. There's a chance there. No cleared away. And everything needs to just settle down from a Rounds persuasion now. Opportunity. Marzi will calm things down himself.
Settle down. I'm feeling electric after this second goal. Again, so well set up by Renshiro. And Marzi is just a player to get it done. Still over half a game to go. Astronic have already proven that they can respond to a Rounds lead. So this is one of those opportunities where I want to see Rounds earn themselves that insurance. Instead, though, it's Mercury at the front post. The angle was acute, doesn't find it. It's simpler for Galaxy, but Marzi makes that save look just as easy.
Yeah, absolutely. Rin bringing this one downfield. Mercury taking it forwards. Renshiro almost bumped off the play, but not in the end. Onizuma has some space, flicks it high, invites the Astronic defense to get back in time, and they do, but he takes the boost from that corner. And now the ball high. Onizuma with that fresh boost hits the crossbar twice, and still Rounds are sent away, but there are opportunities starting to come for the Finnish organization. Onizuma will win that 50 on the ground. Renshiro off the right-hand side, looking to maybe get the pass down to Marzi. Does it beautifully, but from the heavens comes Mercury.
And now we'll cut across, wanted the ball on top of his car. Onizuma didn't allow him the time to do so. Marzi looks for that inside pass. It was a really tough angle to try and go for. High risk, high reward. They're feeling the bitter end. Mercury takes this one to the skies. Another touch goes off that back wall, but Marzi looks prepared. There's two players that attack at that front post. Now having to reposition with lower boosts in the tank, and Mercury can't force that through once more. Marzi with Renshiro cross, blocked by Rin, still had to force it through. Galaxy had to make the break.
Oh no! Renshiro just not able to find that finish. Ball came at him very quickly, to be fair. It was a difficult one to make the most of. And now he comes off that left-hand side. Renshiro! Well, he doesn't miss twice, does he? That's going to be 3-1. And with just over 60 seconds to play, feels like we can start shutting this first series down very soon. Now, the thing is, I do have to say, unfortunately, we've got some bad news from the other bracket, Pegasus.
Don't say it.
Fellow
I
kids.
know it. No.
They
What
did
an
lose.
upset.
They lost 3-0 in their first game of the day to BTF, which is very unfortunate. Rounds, on the other hand, are looking great.
Yeah, they are. And do just want to mention, I mean, BTF is a returning organization, so
yeah,
it's certainly nice to see them back in the mix with a good opening result as well. That's Jeff, Ravi, and Teshao, three players who are definitely deserving of an organization. So great to see them find a home. Renshiro, though, finds this ball's home. It's going to be in the back of the Astronic nets. 5-1, Rounds' next destination should be the 1-0 bracket now.
They wouldn't send us to Brazil, would they, in the first match of the day? Surely not. They couldn't, could they? 47 seconds to find 2 goals? The way that they're scoring so freely at this particular moment, I wouldn't put it past them. Mercury. Oh, that's a wonderful pop.
Oh.
Wow. So much power behind that one. And you know what? I'll wear that caster curse. That's on me. This is ridiculous from Mercury. How's he got that much power in it?
You can take the sunscreen out of the suitcase now, Rhino. We're definitely not going to be going to
That's
Brazil
upsetting.
rounds. We'll have to pull off 3 for Barcelona. I'm not sure what that's like at this time of year. On Azuma could give us an opportunity to find out. Instead, Galaxy gets it across to Marzi. It's a great ceiling challenge to put a stop on Azuma. Looks for the clip off the corner. Doesn't reach here, and Shiro certainly does, but it's blocked nicely from Astronic. 20 seconds to pass. It's a victory lap for rounds.
Certainly is. 3 goals in 15 seconds. Simply not going to happen. Galaxy drops it forwards. Marzi sends away. This is now Renshiro off the right-hand side, who's found his shooting boots again. Mercury forwards. On Azuma gets the block. It won't matter. The next time the ball drops to the ground, there it is. Rounds march on into the 1-0 bracket. It was maybe a little bit more concerning than we would have liked it to have been. That being said, in that final game of the series, Rounds looked the dominant force that we expected them to be, and that makes a lot of makes me feel a lot better about the rest of the day.
If there was one word that I would like to use that dictated the results of that series for me, Rhino, it was comfortability. They looked uncomfortable in that first game, did Rounds, but started to pick it up as time went on, and as that comfort grew, as did their confidence, and I believe I might have the solution why to how that was able to be changed as the series progressed, and that is, of course, our HFM. And for those of you that need to do your homework, that is the have fun meta that has been employed by Rounds, and it has given them great success. A top 8 and a top 4 all in a row for the roster. If only there was a HLTV style article that went into that in greater detail. Well, thanks to the likes of Finker over at Rounds, we do actually have a wonderful interview from all the players. Usually we like to give you some visual guidance over here, but this one is actually going to be a read for you all to enjoy during the break. It is posted on Twitter. It is posted in chat as well. And Rhino, I personally loved having a read through that. I think Finker is a fantastic interviewer, and the players and the coaches and the manager, I believe, were so honest in their responses as well.
Yeah, they were. It's a really interesting read to get the mindset of a coach and to see where the coach's kind of heads are at going into this final open. Really enjoyed all of the responses, as you rightly say, and as also Finker asking some really good questions, making sure to get all of the answers that we wanted from the coaching staff as well. So make sure you give that a read. There will be a quiz after the next break, so make sure you know your stuff.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've mentioned it now, and we'll give you the opportunity to go through that article. It's got all the opinions you're looking for. How did Rounds get so good? How are they feeling in a follow-up to Open 6? And the question that every Rocket League fan has wondered at some point in their lives, what does a coach do? Well, find out in great detail, of course, on the article, and as well with the gameplay doing the talking after the break.
What if I told you, from now on, the only thing you need for gaming is this desk? Uneven Base is a complete esports setup. It includes a powerful computer, keyboard, mouse, and monitor, all in one lightweight build. Uneven Base is foldable, portable, and easy to set up. Perfect gaming experience wherever you want. And of course, there's RGB. Uneven Base. Now it's about you.
Siis mikä voi olla niin tärkeää, että äijä enää 2 viikkoon? Äijä on tullut takaisin. No niin, let's go. Pitkästä aikaa pelikentällä.
Tervetuloa Prozoneen.
Tervetuloa Prozoneen.
Tervetuloa Prozoneen. Vaikka näkö arjessa toimisi hyvin, se ei aina kerro koko tarinaa. Pelissä pienilläkin piilevillä seikoilla voi olla ratkaiseva merkitys. Onneksi ne piilevätkin seikat on korjattavissa.
Another week or will be not.
Get it while it's hot.
May not have been the sweep we were looking for, but the result is all the same. Rounds advance into the 1-0 bracket officially as a top 4 team after their performance in Open 5. But to those of you that had read the article, you should know what Rounds' aims are heading into Open 6, and that is, of course, let's hear the answer. Yep, exactly. Returning to that 3rd and 4th spot. It was the final line of the article, so that is really going to be a test of your reading capabilities. But first opponent is Marine Region with a little bit of a fresh coat of paint.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a really interesting game. We can take a look at the Swiss stage, as you can see in front of you there. There are some very interesting matchups happening right now. Deathcloud versus White Rabbit is one I'm looking at because White Rabbit auto-qualified to Swiss based on the absolute mess of Rostomania. I still kind of expect Deathcloud to come through that game and take home the victory. The Passion versus Unity, as well as a similar one, that Stake, Nitro, and Devour on La Passion. They're a very, very good team. I would expect them to be able to get past Unity Esports, but again, you just don't really know. And that's what Rostomania does to these situations. They give us games that you wouldn't expect. So speaking of games that you might not expect, let's take a look at ours. It's going to be Rounds versus Marine Region. Renshiro, Onozuma, and Marzi taking on the newly formed team of Pingu, Eliakim, and Ram.
It was previously Dalton in that last Open. They'd actually auto-qualified to that Swiss stage in Open 5. However, still were not able to make it to the main event. That does not happen all too often. There's been a few occasions of that happening, though, in this season. And, well, after falling victim to such a poor result, the roster change was forced, as it was everywhere else in the region, as you did mention, Rhino. But heading into this spot, they actually won a Game 5 against Next, which is a team of Teach, ZT, and Yanisin. Teach being a South African player, and no prizes for guessing. The two players that I have not heard of, but have already pulled off a great first result in that round despite the loss, are some random Reunion A players. But there's no randomness on the side of Rounds. It's your familiar Onozuma and Marzi alongside Renshiro.
Yeah, an honorary Reunion A at this point, I think it's fair to say, Renshiro. But yeah, Onozuma and Marzi are coming through as that Union representation. So the check-ins have happened. The game is almost ready to go. And I mean, we've spoken before about the APAC formula, right? Of there being an APAC representative, a MENA representative, and a Finn. There is definitely a formula here in SSA as well, which is a Spaniard and 2 South American players, and that's who we're playing right now. South American?
Yeah, but there's one of...
South African, my apologies.
I didn't even clock that. I did not even clock that. But indeed, yeah. I mean, if they could have 2 South Americans still, you never know whether that would form nowadays. But luckily, that's no longer a part of the rulebook. It's all about those South Africans, and especially those Reunion A in recent times. And it does feel like Onozuma and Marzi are the two that are leading the charge in that regards. Of course, I would look to other names like potentially Teshao being in that conversation. You got Willu, you got Halu, you got Eagle. But at the moment, in the present times, with all the recency bias you could ask for, Rhino, it's Onozuma and Marzi to look out for.
Yeah, and here we go. We will look out for them in-game now as Rounds in the 1-0s look to continue their streak in Swiss, facing against Marine Region. A tough opponent for sure. Can Rounds stand the test?
Rounds have stuck. Marina Region have all broken apart, but Ram joins to fill the gaps. And this creates a very different dynamic on the roster. But for Rounds, there is a sense of familiarity. We were speaking about the many names of Marzi before. He has changed it yet again. Renshiro, though, same as always, finds himself on the score sheet with that familiar yellow text.
Where are the other 2 players for Marine Region? Ram gets dusted on the midfield, right? That's fine. But the confidence, clearly, of the other players on Marine Region to try and force themselves into rounds half when the fear of having that turned around is really present. Quite concerning, but not from a rounds persuasion. That was a really good capitalization on an opportunity that Marine Region gave them. Now this is problematic, but it's not when Agent M comes through to intercept.
Blocked off though by Ram. Pingu is stopped by Renshiro, goes for the pass inside, can't find it. Eli is beaten, the save comes through. Marzi maintains that pressure, and Marine Region have done so well to hold on to that defense. Looked like a clear-cut opportunity for Rounds to pick up that double lead. Instead, Pingu can't break through on Azuma. No worries, I called it a bit early that they were going to find that inside space, but this is a different round side. They are looking a lot more solid in those defensive thirds, especially when you compare to Split 1.
Yeah, here comes the Spaniard. Pingu looking to go through the lines.
Oh!
And Rounds just delayed and delayed and delayed and gave space and gave space and gave space. Eli was pressuring Renshiro. Marzi, I'm not sure that's the play there. Just trying to come across the goal line and take up the space that Renshiro could have lost with a bump. Either way, it's going to be 1-1. Marine Region arguably deserving of that equalizer after the performance they've had so far. But by the same token, Rounds, Renshiro can't be missing them ones. Agent M to clean up.
So far, I have been impressed with the impression of Ram, and I like the way that they build it up. They built up that last goal. However, I do have a problem with this new iteration. I spoke about a fresh coat of paint. That new logo is horror. Back to Onizuma though. Beating at the front post, Eli wants to take it forward. A more modernised Marine Region can't get past Renshiro. Marzi puts up a stop against Ram. Onizuma wants to take some space in that final half. It stayed there for quite some time, but all three men are forward. Onizuma has all the time in the world. Doesn't waste any extra touches, just the one will do.
The phrase, "when will you learn, old man," comes to mind. The second time the Marine Region have tried to push three men forwards into round half, and the second time that they have been caught out and scored upon because of it. Oh, Ram, that's a really dangerous opportunity. Eli converts, and Rounds back to their, let's be honest, usual ways of losing a kickoff.
Marzi is put in such a tough spot there. Wants to tip it over. The one touch was all he could get, and it was still in that really tough position where there's going to be a Marine Region player there every single time. Eli on the kickoff, stopped by Renshiro. In this attempt, Pingu though still tries to cut inside. Marzi gets a block off Ram. He's going to have to catch it down. Onizuma pitches it towards that back wall. Marzi with a read. It's a great read from Marzi. And it was as quick as a flash, blink and you'll miss it type action. A Marine Region can certainly feel the thunder shock.
We've seen it before when Marzi changes his name to just M. That is his final form. That is the Marzi that we want to be seeing more often. Now, the problem is you can't bring it out every time because then it loses its ability. It loses its strength if you continue to use it. But this time, it's being used to great effect. Marzi getting Rounds back ahead. And it has always been Rounds going ahead, Marine Region fighting back. Will we continue with that? Rounds this time all in the Marine Region half. Pingu wanting the bump, not getting it, but an early challenge from Rounds could be causing problems. No, two on the goal line to make the save.
Boomed forward by Onizuma. Marzi was available. Renshiro doesn't force it past Eli, and there's all three players behind that ball, but Eli will attempt to go alone. But look at the confidence of Ram on this replay. Wastes no time to hop himself right up. This is such a risky play to challenge so early, but if he doesn't go, he's not going to hit. Marine Region pull off the 6th of the game, and it's equally split down the middle.
Yeah, the thing we've got to talk about with this Marine Region roster is the fact that Eli has been considered one of the up-and-coming talents in SSA for, it feels like years now. Certainly last year he was considered at that point, and now this year he's been starting to find a really good opportunity as well. I believe made top 8 last regional, and is continuing to go from strength to strength. Looked so good on mainstream when he was there. I distinctly remember casting an Eli game on mainstream, and he was the shining light on his team. And he continues to be. He's growing in confidence. He's gaining more ability in the mechanics department, just going strength to strength, and it's really cool to see. Not at the detriment of rounds, of course, because at the moment we are now level 3-3, and actually there's a chance here for Marine Region on the counter. Renshiro will collect and try to clear down the line, and will.
There's such a depth of talent now in SSA that it starts to feel like when it comes to calling for main event players that the spots are actually limited now, and there will be some certain forces that will miss out of those top spots, have done in previous opens. Marine Region certainly did, despite being one of those invite teams to the Swiss, and rounds definitely would not want to join that disappointed pedigree. They've been off to a great start with how this Swiss stage has gone so far, but as for this second round, we're still looking for that winning goal. It doesn't come from Eli Renshiro. Make sure it doesn't come from the follow either.
Absolutely, and the clearance from Marzi is a pretty good one. Eli avoids the bump there. Really fancy footwork to get around Marzi. Now on Azuma, 0 boost, just really wants to get this ball on the ground, decides not to, dangerous now. And Shiro over to the far side. Rounds need to touch this ball first. They need to get the ball on the ground. Marzi, I think he actually wants to try and make an attack of this. He does, but the ball eventually does drop. OT in game 1, I've seen this film before.
Oh goodness, don't remind me. Pingu wraps it across on Azuma. Make sure to change the channel before that series started to repeat. Eli knocks it up. Marzi is there first on Azuma's just going to bail away for the boost. It's taken quite some time to spawn for him. Does get it eventually, and Ram, but the amount of time he wasted trying to control the ball has given rounds the privilege. It's down for Renshiro, won't reach. Marzi instead takes to the skies. Play remains vertical, but Ram will plug this one to the ground, and it's all Renshiro. You can hear the demo come out. It's a weakened offense for rounds. Marzi wants to settle the score, but it's back into this corner. Rounds just haven't been able to find an inside space.
Got to give credit, so many good 50s being taken by Marine Region to make rounds awkward. They do a really good job of it. Pingu trying to clear away. There's a demo on the goal line. Eli comes from out of nowhere to make a play on that ball. Onizuma rises highest. Marzi's on the far side. He won't get there first, so he will have to try and recover. Wanted the boost steal. I love that. That's something that I've not seen too much from rounds recently, is getting those boost steals, trying to maintain possession in the opponent's half by doing that. They're doing a really good job of it now in this game. They're not doing a good job of that. That was a save from Renshiro, and 3-3, 1 minute 20 still to play. Well, sorry, not still to play, it's overtime. What am I talking about? Need to find a goal. Rounds have come the closest so far.
And he misheard his teammates when he said, Renshiro, we need you to save the game. Instead, he saved a shot. Ram back across to Onizuma. It's a wonderful boom forward, but Eli has plenty of boost in the tank just to cream this one across. That's 2 touches. It's over. Marzi Onizuma does well to cut in time, make sure that that doesn't bounce off his fellow defender into the back of their net, but still, Marine Region have possession. Onazuma's just got one desperate touch across. There's still a bit more solid of a play required to maintain that possession. This could be the one that rounds are looking for, but Renshiro's beating to the mark. Onizuma lets that one slip past him, and for goodness for the reaction time of Marzi.
I think he was called off. I'm going to give credit to that one. Hang on, double opportunity. Not for Renshiro this time. Trust me, it's only a matter of time before he gets one. Ball across, no one there other than Ram. Off the left wall. Looking now, again, not able to get that reset, so Marzi pops high. Renshiro will take it forwards off the right-hand side. Wins the 50, backboard double, Renshiro! Oh! I believe I said a moment ago, it won't be long until he gets one. It's very rare I get proved right, Pegasus, but I feel good about this one.
Captain refuses to go down with his ship, and Marina Region are sunk in game 1. Oh, Captain, my Captain, how I've missed you so.
Oh, what a play. What a beauty. What a game. What a way to start this series. Feels really good, and this is the dangerous position of Swiss at this point because of the roster changes because of the way that everyone has been just moving, teams moving around. Marine region, there is no reason that we should be playing them right now. This is a pretty crazy position to be in with the likes of Eli, Pingu, and Ram on the other side. But Rounds step up to the challenge after game one. But a very, very important lesson has been learned in that game one, Pegasus. Don't give Eli space.
Eli is definitely the target. He's the one where if you have that choice between two defenders you have to go for when you're rotating out and deciding whether you want to pick up a demo or two, Eli is priority in every single attempt. Of course, Pingu is coming in here as that import player, the Spaniard on the team, but he's been more of a facilitator than just a primary danger man on the roster. It's really been Eli who's taken that charge. Ram has been a really great supporting act alongside those two players as well. I mean, I just think back-to-back goal that Eli completely created on his lonesome, and he had the confidence to step up, go for that read of the shot, and of course, Round give it a lot more work to do in a 2.5 minutes overtime. But now scoreline's reset to 0, and I cannot believe that it's only game 2.
Yeah, it feels like we've been playing this game for a while, doesn't it? But it doesn't matter because Agent M is online again. Finds the angle off the right-hand side, notices the space after Pingu's clearance is, well, quite frankly, not strong enough. And that will be Rounds, 1-up in game 2.
The defense is left shaken and stirred after that first attempt. 20 seconds, not even gone yet in this second game, and Round have picked up that opening advantage just like they did in that previous game. We've fallen victim to that many a times in previous opens, especially in 4 and below, but 5 and above. Rounds have looked a completely different team. They want to establish themselves as a consistent top 4 side. And a performance like this would have to prove it. A bump comes through, and Azuma has a very awkward bounce, especially with the way his car was facing.
Yeah, I mean, Renshiro manages to get the bump, and I think Onizuma is caught out by it. I'm not sure he's expecting his captain to be able to do that. Eli with a good turn. Onizuma will rob it from him, gets a reset, won't stay with the play though. Pingu plays it over to the corner, and a clearance is in from Ram. Marzi gonna be the last man back. Thank goodness he realized not to take that challenge. I was about to get very, very nervous, but in the end he does the right thing, backs away from it, and Rounds build again from their half. Onizuma, backboard, double chance. No, Eli sends away.
Renshiro has gone up, so Marzi needs to stay controlled on the back wall, and that first touch will do exactly that. Renshiro on Azuma, the power of friendship to send this ball across. Marzi's the final piece of the puzzle back in to Onizuma. It still heads towards that backboard, but much weakened from that initial 50-50. Ram's been able to clean up, but Onizuma looks to cause another spill on the final line just to sneak it under. But a crossbar is hit, and Ram will create something for himself.
Not a million miles away from Onizuma. Marzi's trying to clear. Ooh, dear, oh dear. Swiss stage breaking a rule 1. Good comeback to Haunt Rounds. Dropping down there from Pingu. There's Renshiro now trying to move forwards. It's Eli to collect. Looking to play this one into the middle. No, will instead back away to the left side. And the amount of times Eli just starts to think, I'll do it myself, it's a little bit nervous for Rounds, but they do get the clearance.
And now it's time for the beating heart of this roster, and Shiro to chase that first ball. Eli, though, on the long shot, wants the top corner. Marzi doesn't get the read, but that ends up better because Onizuma has infield space. The 50's good, but Eli's positioning is even better. A quick recovery was required. They're going to have to do it yet again. Round making sure to keep their opponents tested. They're passing for the time being, but Onizuma gives them another. Marzi, another bump on that third man, leaves it out as Ram gets that 50 across. Is one chance for Eli, not another, with that clearance coming from Marzi.
Here's Pingu though. No, stolen by Onizuma, boomed back downfield. Eli gets a really good touch on it, wants the the boost as well. It is stolen from him. Now Ram collects from his own side, sees all 3 Rounds members in front of him, takes out the first. Pingu off the left side, gets dunked. Eli to the sky. Marzi collecting. Renshiro moving down that right, getting a musty flick forwards. It's not powerful enough. And now Pingu will clear the They clear the lines for Marine Region. Actually, from the angle, difficult play. Marzi does well.
Back up to Agent M with a busty flick. It cuts across, and I saw Pingu was prepared for the block, but Onazuma's tipped into the corner. It opens up with that extra bump. Threat neutralized by Agent M. Renshiro has the red carpet laid down for the Royal Highness.
Yeah, he's not going to miss those, is he? That's Renshiro's bread and butter. And he will find the top right-hand corner. Rounds for the first time in this series. 2 goals to the good with 1 minute and 10 to go. Onozuma wanting the catch, not getting it cleanly. Marzi comes through, and this is more of the communication that I like to see, because Onozuma could have stuck with that play. He could have tried to make something with that with 0 boost, but Marzi calls him off, says, I've got resources, don't worry about it. I'll take that ball forwards. And it's respected. And that's so important for rounds. Another shot on from Renshiro will be saved away. But Marine Region are just going to feel this pressure continuing to suffocate them in their own half.
Oh, Eli back in possession.
No, they would have done it
Marzi again puts a stop to it. This game is over. And there's one player you'd look out for. The stats go against him, but he's so good at playing undercover. It's Agent M.
When will you learn? When you've got a player moving forwards with the ball, they can get 50'd. They can get challenged. Stop putting your resources for... Actually, no, keep doing it. You know, rounds are benefiting from it. But the facts that Marine Region haven't learned that yet. Eli driving down the field. Don't get me wrong. One of the better players in the one of the better players in the region. But by the same token, you cannot believe that he's going to win every single 50 he plays. You can't even believe that he's going to maintain the ball every single time he moves down the field. Such smart play from Rounds. They make them pay. There might be one for the road. Now, Renshiro professionally missed the PR, drops it down onto the ground. Rounds 2 to the good in the series now.
What do you think, Rhino? Game of the day? For me, that's game of the day from Rounds.
Yeah,
I know they had that result that we said earlier could have gone to a Brazil scoreline, could have gone to a Barcelona, but I felt like they were not challenged nearly as much as they were by Marine Region in this game. Sure, they don't have the goals to show for it, but that's because Rounds prevented it at every opportunity. They had the kitchen sink thrown at them. Marine Region were constantly changing the way they play and the strategies at which they were aiming to get that opening goal. And Rounds were just there to respond. It was organised defensively. The offense was well structured as well on top of all that. And there were so many fantastic quick decisions made in that midfield third that just allowed them to completely control the pace of the game.
Yeah, that was a Rounds game through and through. Marine Region threatened maybe once or twice on the goal line, but every single time it was just pushed away. And actually, they saved one of their own shots at one point towards the end there, as I cut myself off during the car. But look, Rounds, probably the most professional game we've seen from them so far. Marshalling all across the field, really good communication, not too many double commits. I love what I'm seeing from Rounds. If they keep playing like that, how many times have we said that this season? But if they keep playing like that, they will be absolutely fine today.
Only 2 more streams, chat. Only 2 more streams of us saying Baron Shiro doesn't find a target in the opening chance. They have gotten those goals in the first 30 seconds in every single game of this series. We've had game of the day. This still could be series of the day if they can pull off the sweep. I don't want to see any game 4s anymore. Eli, though, with a confident first touch, is beaten on Azuma. From behind, isn't going to be able to beat out Ram. Eli was awkward off that pass. Renshiro goes for the read. He got one earlier, but that one stays rather flush towards the wall, and that just favours Marine Region.
Yeah, but they are rattled right now, Marine Region. You're seeing a couple of double commits. You're seeing defense. You're seeing the untrust of their own teammates at times as well. And that should open the door for Rounds later in this one. Renshiro, maybe for the first time I've seen the new reset indicator, misses a flip reset. That's not like him. Ram trying to move through. Stops that one. And now Eli trying to find the pass, looking to get the killer ball through. It's not going to happen for him this time. The pinch won't work for Onizuma. Difficult position for Marzi, but he deals with it so beautifully.
Ranchiro recognises he has space and just offloads that in time for the man behind him to not catch him off guard. It went towards Marzi, dropped down by Ranchiro to Onizuma. Marzi should be the next to pick up. It's fluid rotation between the three players, everyone getting involved, everyone being given time after a challenge to go off, look for boost, look for a bump, or at least go onto those dummy runs that opened up the space. It did that time with Marzi skipping across the pitch. Here he is now, required for that next charge, but Onizuma has caught him off. No psychos here. The shot, though, is not going to cause any fear for the ice-cold Agent M.
No, not at all. Eli reset. Another shot on Onizuma this time, sending it away. Nothing in the tank. Now that's a little bit of a miscommunication. That's one that I'd like to see tidied up a little bit. Marzi can't escape down the field. Pingu next up. Renshiro just telling the Marine region guys, well, if you're not going to make the save, then I'm just going to come through. Actually, that's a great play by Ram. Goodness gracious. He brings out the battering ram this time. Change his name, as Marzi can't do anything to prevent this ball from going home.
Such a tough spot to be in if you're Marzi, because you just believe you could not have done anything better there. He's gone up, he's hit the ball right in the centre, but the momentum is all against him, and that's how you know a perfect play has formed. And Ram certainly had one deserving of that title, but now Rounds test their ability to chase back from behind, and that would certainly feel the hat-trick of incredible games that we have seen so far from them. Renshiro tips it up. Marzi does get that 50 across, still remains in that neutral third. There's still going to be a tussle to break the final line. Renshiro does it in style. Bottom corner. And there are absolutely no other expectations when you see him go up for a play uncontested.
Talk about your shot positioning. Bottom right-hand corner. Couldn't place it better if he tried. Marine region pushed back. The first time they took a lead in a game so far this series, and they have immediately been pushed back. Onizuma off the left. Renshiro wants to cause some damage. Not going to be able to. Ball flies across the goal line. Ram to collect. He's been really good in this game, to be fair, and that fake is more proof of that fact. Renshiro, early challenge. Pingu won't get there. Marzi plays the pass down, but Eli has spotted the danger and dealt with it. Onizuma has not a lot of boost to work with. Won't matter. Still gets a booming clearance down the right-hand flank.
Onizuma stops by Pingu, and Marzi had a very precarious spot to somehow escape from. It does lead back to this corner, but there's options on the inside. It's Ran! Yet again, 2 shots, 2 goals. This one put on a healthy platter by Eli.
Yeah, once again, Rounds just opening the door there as 2 players right on that near post back wall. Not ideal. And with a minute and a half to play, Marine region starting to find their feet in this series. Ram, demo coming through from Eli, absolutely taking out Onizuma and taking out the second man as well. Eli driving through an early jump from Onizuma, forces Eli low, but actually Marzi has to make a 50 on the goal line. And Rounds just a little bit more disjointed than we've seen them. But now Renshiro trying to break downfield. Eli right there on the scene. I swear the last time I saw him from that angle, he was miles back, but he comes through to make that challenge anyway. Nice work from Marine region. And now across from the angle, not going to be going home this time.
Here he is again. It's Eli to try and create the play for Marine region. Can run down that clock as well, but Renshiro will leave them begging that there was less time. Tries to get that equalizer on regulation on Onizuma. It's a very brave challenge. It's the most Onizuma challenge you could ask for. Ends up bumping his teammate, but Renshiro makes sure to fill in the gaps. Onizuma avoids that bump from MR, and that would have destroyed this game had that have landed. Instead, the creation is there on the infield, but Ram steals it away, picks his pocket. Marzi grabs it right back.
The way the Marine region have stopped giving Rounds space is really causing Rounds problems right now. They're having to create their own opportunities. They're having to get a little bit more aggressive, which isn't the Rounds play style. They don't want to get in the face of their opponents, really. They want to just be able to take the ball through the sky and out-mech them, outplay them from that perspective. There might be be a chance at a recovery. Onizuma. Needed a bit of a weaker touch there. The ball will remain up. Can Onizuma get over there? No, he can't. There's one extra game at least in this series to be found.
Yeah, it's a deserved win from Marine Region. And, well, I said that rounds were going to be put to the test of how they played from behind. I'm actually more impressed as to how Marine Region were able to adjust themselves to the differing circumstances. They controlled the game. They shut it down completely. Their challenges were a lot more aggressive. The round's goal did come from two players being given space, simply Onizuma on the infield pass and Renshiro pulling off that grand shot from that rather unfortunate angle despite having so little defense on him. And then once Marine Region got themselves back in the lead, they just made sure they didn't make that same mistake twice, and rounds were completely suffocated.
Oh yeah, really difficult for rounds to find any purchase downfield, because they were being cut off at every given moment, right? The early challenges for Marine Region, that was exactly how they wanted to play. You could see that from the first game of this series. They want to be in the face. They want to cut those passing lanes. They want to make it difficult to make those solo plays from the round's half. And they pulled it off on that occasion. They were really able to make the challenges they were looking for, have the resources that they wanted. Now it's down to rounds to adapt. Now rounds have seen how Marine Region want to play. How do you play around it?
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. It's a performance to be proud of from Marine Region in a game which already has some moments. You take a photo of, you frame it, you hang it on the fridge, but we're looking for a bit more than that. We want something in the trophy cabinet. We've picked up the top 8, we've picked up the top 4. It's trying to equal that and potentially pick up a little bit more, especially Rhino, with those last two meetings going surprisingly well for rounds. I think of the 6.5 minute overtime. I think of the semi-finals that went all the way to game 6, even better than the de facto second place Pioneers could even do in that grand finals. This is the round that is being built upon, and it is the rounds that Marine Region will look to equal the score against in this fourth game. But we saw game 4 be the closer in round 1. May that repeat itself.
Marzi making his presence felt right at the start of this game number 4. Actually, that drop down could lead to problems for Marine Region. Ball will not be played across. Renshiro plays it back towards his own half. Onizuma going to be asked to try and make something of this. Pushes it middle. Pingu will collect. Is there anyone home? There is Onizuma just about getting back into the right position.
Back up for Eli. Pingu will be faster to that second touch. It's a lot of boost used for Marine Region to just make that headway into the round spot. They were happy to let it build up, because now, once they pick back up possession, it is a weakened defense. The resources were all brought towards that opposite side, but now time has passed. Ram is able to flick it over Onizuma. Renshiro tries to maintain that press. The bump doesn't land on Pingu, and the offloading pass to Ram is extremely impressive. Bump attempted. Onizuma manages to see through the eye of the needle.
Yeah, splits the uprights really nicely, but actually that's not a touch he'll be proud of. That one's off the backboard. Chance at the back post. Pingu will find the finish, and that unfortunately is off the back of... Look, Onizuma can't do much about that. He's rotating back towards goal, but if he doesn't get that touch, then rounds might be able to make a play down the field. It's unfortunate. It's unlucky. It's 1-0 Marine Region.
At the same time, though, you know that Coach Quantek would be seething. There's not a single player at that back post. It was just that simple outnumbering, so that when a ball was eventually sent past that front post, all 3 players were way too awkward to recover themselves and make that save. Eli on the redirect has a readily available Renshiro this time in the net. Better positioned, well dunked by Onizuma. Could go all the way, but Eli puts a stop to that right on the spot.
Gets across really well to Zalayakim. And now trying to make problems at the other end. Onizuma will just catch this one down the left beautifully. Beyond the third as well. Needs the pass. Gets the bump. Doesn't matter. Renshiro's the finish. That is a round-tastic transition.
And of course it's Onizuma to make it happen. And Renshiro's fireworks goes off early with a demo picked up by his Reunion A comrade. But the finish gets the job done. Eli off by Marzi. Can't forget of his contributions. That play comes off the crossbar. Remains 1-1 on Azuma. Still looking to earn that second goal for rounds. Might do with the infield pass coming from Renshiro. These two have it locked down.
The players are having fun in the server. I'm having fun on the microphone, Pegasus. Rounds feeling good. 2 goals back to back that just ooze class and confidence. Less than 3 minutes still to go. Game is nowhere near done yet. But I like what I'm seeing. Renshiro bringing this one through. Gets a little bit bumped. Gets a reset. Doesn't use it. Now over to this left-hand side. The interception. No. Pingu gets across his goal line.
Tries to take it off the ceiling. Marzi was already waiting there. Just a fly that couldn't be swatted. Renshiro will attempt himself to land on Ram on Azuma. Off that back wall. Everyone's committed. The space is open. It's not Marzi. Renshiro wants it all for himself. Ooh. And you will open up the path for the captain. It's a wonderful way to make it free. Still half of the game yet to go. Marine Region will still give it everything they've got, but rounds have found their groove.
Oh, if I was Marzi there, I'd be furious. Renshiro has absolutely no right to take that ball at the first point. There's such an easier shot for Marzi to take. And Renshiro just goes, nah, I'm going to get the angle. It's fine, don't worry about it. But if that
it does feel harsh.
It does feel harsh,
and Marzi hasn't scored yet either.
Yeah.
So those dreams were just ripped away from him in one fell swoop. They're not getting him involved. It's just on Azuma and Renshiro passing it back and forth. The one chance Marzi had, he stole for himself and hit the crossbar. Oh.
Right, okay. We can come back down to earth now. Does he get bumped?
Hopefully Marzi will as well. But he's long gone.
Yeah, not sure. Not sure about that one. Marine Region have a way back in, and it is Browns who have gifted it to them. Oh my goodness, Marzi looking for another demo on the kickoff. But Renshiro, he's got some boost. He's got some space. Okay, bit of a miscommunication again. Browns just need to see this game out now as things have started getting a little bit bitty for them.
I'm not excited. And I'm actually not excited with how this play is starting to develop. Just as you feel like the needle is towards the round side, there's a bit of a shake. It's getting closer towards that centre. The Marine Region have got some more fuel still in their tank. And of course it's Eli to make it equal. He's been quiet for quite some time, but it's who we loudly praised earlier in the series. He's back.
What's the lesson we should have learned in the first game of this series, folks? Don't give Eli space. What do rounds do? They give Eli space. And what a shock, he makes it work for himself. Now, rounds have got a lot to do here. After conceding that first goal of the game, they looked really good, scored 3 on the bounce, thought they were really in it, and then they give away a goal to Marine Region. And then that's all it takes for an opposition team to get back into a game, is just something to cling on to. That's what they do. Eli being given space. Once again, Ram at the angle, off the corner. Eli scores, it's 4-3.
We've got to be shutting him down here. We've got to be shutting him down here. It's not a great touch from Marzi either. On that back wall, it just goes straight back into the danger, and there is always a second man available from Marine Region. And someone's got to be in their ear telling them they've got to shut that gap down. The gap I'm looking at now, though, is on the score sheet. It's 1 goal in the favour of Marine Region. Onizuma will receive that pass back from Renshiro. Like I said, these two have been passing alongside each other for a majority of this game. Marzi needs to get involved here, but Renshiro will completely cut him off. Now Marzi can take some space. 50's down. It's Renshiro. 10 seconds to go. Looks for the target. Ram gets it over. But Pingu is going to win that race.
Yeah, but Marzi plays it forwards. Pingu is right there on the scene to make sure that ball played forwards. And that ball will drop. We do go to game 5. I see an eye roll from my co-caster, and you know what? I absolutely agree with it. I was in party mode, Pegasus. I was thinking we were going through to the 2-0 bracket without any incident whatsoever. And then Rounds got roundsy.
I just didn't check the title, did I? I didn't check our header text. This is the Swiss stage, ladies and gentlemen, and this is a Rounds team stream. So it is going to be topsy-turvy. You're going to be excited one moment, and the next you're going to be brought right back down to earth. This is the content team when it comes to the Swiss stage, and we're certainly getting our content. This is definitely going to be a matchup for the neutral. However, I'd like this to be more of a stream for the Rounds persuasion. So game 5, let's lock this down now.
Yeah, you I hope so. I hope so. Listen, after game 1, it was a little bit awkward. You know, Rounds started to really take the series in their stride, and we're 3-1 up going into the final, 2 minutes of that game? Maybe a minute and 40 seconds? And threw it away. Listen, Marine Region do not get back into this game without that Onizuma miss on the second goal that they scored. And I'm going to just outright say that, and I truly believe that. That doesn't happen, we've got a chance. Whether he got bumped on the ground or not, that's just the way that it goes. So, 5 minutes on the clock. Rounds, have fun, but please be disciplined. Please, let's just lock this one down.
It is 3 goals on the trot for Marine Region currently. There's some momentum, but has to swing back in the Rounds' favour. And if this is a rocking boat and Renshiro is our captain, everyone's been left here seasick. Agent M whacked off by Pingu. Ram off his own back wall, has plenty of boost of attack to take across. Renshiro gets that crucial touch, but Onizuma ends up pinching it alongside Marine Region Spaniard. The Inquisition has arrived.
The wheels have fallen off. Onizuma trying to bring this one around the side. Marzi, I don't really understand how he thinks that Onizuma is going to be able to win that 50 on that turn. It was quite clear that the Marine Region player was in a better position to win the ball. The moving forwards from Marzi is what's cost him there. It's just weak positioning. Need to try and bring this one back under their spell. Onizuma dropping it down. Renshiro gets bumped off the play. And Marine Region have been doing this so well in the games that they've won, where they've been able to unseat, unsettle, and confuse Browns in where they are at any given moment. And Marine Region continue to prove to be a nuisance. Pingu over the top, wants the bump. No, Marzi safe.
Back down to Renshiro. Just has to take a few safe touches. Onizuma wants to create danger, though, in the orange half. The shot is on. Saved nicely by Eli yet again. Ram has that space closed down quickly by Onizuma. And now Renshiro has a fair bit of his own. There's certainly some on that backboard. Ram almost slots it away into his own net. The crossbar ding is going to be a sigh of relief for any Marine Region supporters. And there's going to be even more relief seeing Eli back on the ball. He's got the reset, but Renshiro doesn't allow him to use it. Oh no, demo though. Quick half turn. Marzi was hiding in the net, came out in the last moment, gives me a hard attack, and now the counter attack is all round. Shots on. Onizuma just cannot reach.
Nice idea. I like the idea of the pass there from Renshiro, but he just puts it ahead of Onizuma. He can't catch up to the ball, and now the breakaway once again. Renshiro, just shoot this time. The breakaway from Rounds, back level, needed that.
It's Marzi with a wonderful pass across, and Renshiro already knew he was going to run his way up the pitch, committed himself in that flip so early, and that requires so much trust in your teammates when you are locked in that motion. Well, these are 3 players now that have played together ever since Open 2, and that cohesion is certainly closer to being on lock. Pingu back to that corner. Can see that Onizuma is lurking still, unable to pass by them. Eli back towards Onizuma, has that 100 boost, could attempt for coast to coast. Eli stops it dead in its tracks, stays towards that final third. Marzi just wants to take some space forward. The halfway line is crossed on Azuma. Works so hard to hold it there as if it's his own goal line.
Oh, that's a great dunk from Renshiro. It's just not going to go home. But now's time for Rounds pressure. Now is time for Rounds to start exerting their will on Marine Region. Good push away by Onizuma. He's going to look to follow it through as well. Ram is the last man back. Onizuma versus Ram. Onizuma wins the battle of wits. Ball into the middle. There is no one there because they are demoed again. This is the way Marine Region have been playing since minute 1. The demos are strong. They really try to make sure that Rounds cannot settle down into their rhythm. They do a really good job of it as well. Ram the clearance away. Renshiro's back to make a good block. And now is going to be an opportunity to break downfield. Renshiro, limited boost, but the second man is there in a good position. And following through is Onizuma. Backboard, drop down to the captain. He won't turn. He will decide to go back as third man. I don't mind it.
Well, yeah, especially because he was able to get that follow-up touch without it. I was really concerned as to why he decided that was a ball he should opt out of. There's a double commit there. Someone had to opt out of that chance, but Marzi recovers for his previous wasteful attempt. Doesn't get that side boost. Onizuma is bumped away, can recover in the nick of time, but Renshiro needs to get it out. Renshiro is called upon again. Marzi sends it back to Renshiro. Of all people, I'm feeling like a drawstring toy. Eli will bring it off that back wall. Pingu is around, but Renshiro allows it over him yet again. Flip reset stopped by Onizuma.
Rounds cannot let this bully ball style get to them. It's really easy to do. You know, it's a difficult style to play against. Onizuma might have found the answer. Not quite. Eli back in time to make the save. Now Renshiro, no boost in the tank. Ram clears away, but only as far as Onizuma, surely off that right-hand side. But it met immediately, and once again, it's these early challenges coming through from Marine Region that are preventing Rounds from doing what they want to do. Down this right side, Onizuma, that's not on target. Cleared away by Pingu.
Marzi back inside. They could get it done in regulation. Renshiro would have to keep it up. I'm not sure if I still want that. Onizuma gets the beat, so yes, I do. Marzi off that back wall, pinches across. Renshiro has a full tank, has been the hero at these times before. The bump comes out, but the ball does hit the floor. OT is reached. Next goal wins.
Next goal wins not just the game, but the series. Pingu wanted to do it himself there. Bump from Onizuma, bit of bully ball back to the Marine Region team. A double commit on the goal line is going to lead to problems. Demo as well. Rounds have to stand tall. Pingu plays it middle, but a dunk from Renshiro sends the ball long. Ram will collect. Actually, he's just going to put it high. That's going to lead to issues. Ball over to the left-hand side. Onizuma trying to turn the corner. Can't do it. Interception by Ram. Renshiro off the backboard. He wants to follow it through, but Eli does a good job. Demo on the back lines. That's what I want to see from Rounds. Can they make it work? They sure can! 2-0s, here we come!
And no surprises, who gets the job done? Renshiro, ladies and gentlemen, finishes the job for Round. He bleeds green, he's made sure they've all been loaded, and he's emptied the clip on Marine Region. We progress to the 2-0 brackets.
Oh, I don't need any more content. I really don't. That's it. That's all we want, folks. Somehow Rounds pull it through. And you know what? It was off the back of giving Marine Region a taste of their own medicine. Renshiro forcing that third man to get Demo, just chasing into the goal. There you go. That's the one. And then sets himself up for the pass in the middle. 2 defenders isn't enough. And Renshiro converts. Rounds having to play dirty, having to go against their own morals, but they get the win.
I am stuffed full of content. I am so full. My belly cannot take anymore. Can we not get that in the third round, ladies and gentlemen? Can we not see a fourth round as well, more importantly? That was a pretty crazy series through and through. You could tell from the chat that was certainly one for the neutral, and it did go down to the wire. It went to game 5. It went to goal 5 as well in that OT. But you know what they say, Rhino? This is the Swiss stage. As you do progress, those matchups are only going to get tougher. Let's hope not too much for rounds, albeit Marine Region have their second game 5 in a row. So maybe this is just what they do.
Could be. I've got some bad news for you, Pegasus. It does not get easier from this point forwards, because after the break, we will be playing Devour, State, and Nitro. We are going to be playing Le Passion after this very, very quick break with the last to finish. So make sure you come back very, very shortly, because we will have what could be the last game of the day as rounds try to march towards GSL. See you in a moment.
What if I told you, from now on, the only thing you need for gaming is this desk? Uneven Base is a complete esports setup. It includes a powerful computer, keyboard, mouse, and monitor, all in one lightweight build. Uneven Base is foldable, portable, and easy to set up. Perfect gaming experience wherever you want. And of course, yeah, there's RGB. Uneven Base. Now it's about you.
Siis mikä voi olla niin tärkeää, että äijä ei näy 2 viikkoon? Äijä on tullut takaisin. No niin, let's go. Pitkästä aikaa pelikenttä.
Tervetuloa Prozoneen.
Tervetuloa Prozoneen.
Tervetuloa Prozoneen. Vaikka näkö arjessa toimisi hyvin, se ei aina kerro koko tarinaa. Pelissä, pienilläkin piilevillä seikoilla, voi olla ratkaiseva merkitys. Onneksi ne piilevätkin seikat on korjattavissa.
I've said it before, I'll say it again, I'll probably say it even more in the future. Not even close. Rounds progressed to the 2-0 bracket after a Game 5 victory versus Marine Region. It was back and forth, but ultimately, our opponents put up a lot more of a fight than we initially expected. It was a star performance from Eli with 2 great supporting acts with Pingu and Ram, yet still rounds were good enough to take down this side in that Game 5 OT courtesy of Renshiro. But now, my prediction really gets put to the test here. Only 2 teams are allowed to qualify through the 2-0 bracket, and Rounds would really appreciate being one of them, avoiding both Pioneers and Death Cloud, however, facing an equally scary team instead.
Yeah, this Le Passion team has been really good. In fact, they've been so good they've not lost a game yet today. They have played both Unity and Mzansi Magicians. Now, on paper, those aren't especially 2 scary teams, so there is a little bit of a fact that they haven't really been tested so far today. Rounds will definitely be the toughest team that they've played so far, but I think by the same token, Le Passion will also be the toughest team that we've played. I do disagree to an extent that Marine Region weren't expected to give us that much of a test. I think the names on that side do speak for themselves, but by the same token, yeah, going to 5, I don't think many people would have predicted that. So let's take a look then at the matchup coming up for Rounds versus Le Passion.
There's been a bit of a roster shake-up, and that, of course, has included a Spaniard and 2 South Africans to round off a roster. Devour and Nitro both coming from top 8, top 6, even top 4 performances in the 2026 season. Now team up alongside Stake, who hasn't really had the finest end to his year so far. But Renshiro, on the opposite side at many moments, has expressed his respect he has towards this Spanish opposition, and I'm sure there is going to be a lot of respect shown in his gameplay for this series. So personally, predictions all remain the same. I'm going to stick with my 3-0 exit out of the Swiss stage, but we would love to know your opinions as well. So the channel point predictions are already up. We all love a cheeky bit of Twitch, completely legal, regulated gamba, but for us, Rhino, it is just our aura, as you said earlier today, on the line. And I'm going to stick with the same predictions. It didn't matter who we were going to face in this 2-0. In fact, as long as it wasn't Pioneers, I was relatively happy.
I would like to believe that we would be able to move on into that 3-0 based on not just our seeding, but the way that we were able to play last Open. Have we been able to match that same level this Open yet? I haven't seen it. Hopefully, the dangerous team of Devour, Nitro, and Stake can force that out of Rounds. But here we go, folks. It's time to potentially qualify for GSL on Friday. Rounds might not have played the best, but you've just got to get there. And now they take on Le Passion to qualify for GSL.
And perfection requires the highest of costs to achieve, and for Renshiro, it was leaving his family and leaving his home ground behind. Now in Cape Town, performances have improved, and that journey to perfection is ever closer. Will we see a perfect run out of the Swiss? It's either Le Passion or Rounds to do so.
Here we go. It's going to be Marzi taking it through. Heavy touch is going to invite Nitro into the play. Turn from Monezuma doesn't really get anything. And now Nitro trying to win the 50 against Renshiro, but he stands tall. Devour takes the shots, gets the first goal as well. This is Devour's first foray away from Skill Steal since 2024. And already he's on the board here in the 2-0.
30 seconds for that first goal to find the back of the net. Rounds already given that splash of cold water. If the names on the opposite side wasn't enough, that they're going to have to play the best that they have done today if they want to get this result. Stake gets the pop reset. It falls well to Nitro. And the cleanup crew is there. It is a gorgeous way for them to extend their already very early lead.
And this one, it's going to be pretty serious here for rounds. 2-0 up already, go La Passion. And as we say, we mentioned it before this game, this is going to be the toughest test for both of these teams so far in this bracket. Rounds have not played a team with the mechanical capabilities of La Passion yet. Today, there's an opportunity here for Renshiro to get back on the board, bottom left-hand corner. But La Passion, by the same token, they will not have had to defend with as much fervor as they will have to against rounds. So, a battle of wits begins in this new game.
And I like that leave coming from Onizuma. It did send the La Passion players on a bit of a spin in defense. They jumped early, and that allowed the follow-up strike to be a lot easier for rounds to force across. There's still work to be done. You conceded way too quick for the mark, and I'd like him to respond in just as prompt a fashion. Renshiro out to the corner. Devour is going to have to try and turn on this, but Renshiro placed to his weaker side. Stake can't get past Marzi. It's just going to be Onizuma to clear across, and he puts it in a very safe position.
But then that clearance doesn't come through. Renshiro thought he needed to win a 50, so takes a heavy touch. Didn't actually need to as Stake backs away from it. And that's one of the things that the Spaniard has brought to this region, is that measured approach to Rocket League. He does so well just to make sure that you never know his next move. He's always being second guessed. And now he wins that ball down the right-hand side. Stake looking for Devour, but it's forced away to the back corner. Devour once again trying to bring it through. Marzi into the middle. Renshiro might just take a shot. I think he's found the goal as well. All square, 2-2.
And the mentality can reset. But rounds can still have the confidence that these gods do in fact bleed. Hat Fun meta is in full flow. I know that all of you did your research. Now you get to see the practical.
Yep, for sure. And I mean, there is one player on this field who I want to talk about, and I feel it would be remiss if we don't, is Devour. The come up that this young man has had this season has been nothing short of excellent. He's been so good, from being on the Hybo roster last year, which, don't get it wrong, you know, he was a very solid player on, but I don't think he turned too many heads. This year, playing on Astronic, I think he was their star man. And now, in this Le Passion side, learning from one of the greats of the game, one of the old school players in Stake, I think he's only going to move forward in his development. And he's already proved it so far. He's got, I believe he's got both of the La Passion goals so far. Onizuma wants to shut them down though. Wants the 50. Stake gets dunked, but there's no second man to follow.
And Stay looking for the B. Renshiro had that backflip. That's not enough space. Marzi is still able to close those doors quick as a flash. Nitro not going to turn into this play quite yet. Renshiro getting baited into stepping forward, will happily steal it away from La Passion. And if you want to talk about passion, you think about the SSA vibe director himself. A result has come through. Top 32 no more. Greybeard is officially a top 28 talent in SSA after DQ.
Let's go. Even if he didn't need to play, that's fine. Let's go, Greybeard.
They all count.
They all count. Marzi forward. Does he have help? He might not need it. Bottom right corner. Oh, the ding. Strikes a dagger in my heart. But Marzi's still there with the play. Renshiro following in off the crossbar.
Whoa!
How does Stake make that save? Actually, how does Renshiro miss that? He doesn't normally.
You could go either way with that one. But it's all lined perfectly for La Passion. Still, though, no advantages in the scoreline. If anything, it's rounds that have looked more likely to open up the score and decide this game in regulation. Devour could change that, demoed off though by Renshiro. Marzi is given that space by his captain, passes it right back. The 1 and 2s end up with 2 committing to just beat across. Nitro was that last man, a bit of stability. Now dislodged, and its tower all comes tumbling down.
Onizuma tells Stake to get on the weights. That is wonderful. Ball moves inside. Renshiro has an easy finish, but don't get that twisted. That is Onazuma's work. Renshiro just put the finishing touches on it, the cherry on the cake, if you will. And now 3-2 up in game number 1 with 20 seconds still to play. Rounds not really needing to press the gas pedal at this point. They might they might find another one. Marzi, left side. That should be game 1 done.
If you need a job done, if you need to get a game thrown away, Marzi will make sure to do it in style. For La Passion, this game falls away from them. 17 seconds remain. We do like to concede on the kickoff.
Do.
Not this time straight away. Stake keeps it low. Devour will strike. The save comes through. 8 seconds still remaining with every single one that pass. We exhale that bit further. Now to full calm. Rounds take game 1 of the series.
Yeah, that's going to be Rounds with the victory. Thank goodness for that. After a strong start from La Passion, a 2-0 lead early on. Looking at those statistics, Rounds then settled down, especially that man Renshiro. A hat-trick, 3 saves as well. The only demo of the game from the Rounds side came from Renshiro as well. 820 points in game. That is certainly something special. And the Rounds captain making it happen against La Passion.
Leading by example for the roster, but that's why we gotta give that love to Onozuma. 2 assists at his hands. Marzi also picking up 2 for himself. There is no goal there that went unassisted. And that's how you know that the boys are completely on lock. It was those 2 goals really early on in that game, Rhino, that had Rounds chasing for a majority. But then you ignore that first minute, final 4 was all very confidently in the Rounds' favour. Sure, you feel like those counter-attacking opportunities could come at any time, but who cares if a stray opportunity flies towards your net when you have already scored 4 in the time you have been given. I want to see that now. Straight from the kickoff, no early concessions. And I know I've been one to curse this before, but I'm making sure that Rounds can feel that pressure. We've shaken off so many curses in our 6 opens of running the Rounds team stream. Am I going to be too much to handle?
Well, we'll find out. As this ball played into the middle once again. La Passion looking for another hot start. Double commit on the back lines for the side of Rounds, but it doesn't matter too much. Renshiro gets beyond the first challenge. Ball into the middle. Nitro to clear away. He gets beyond that first challenge, but all the way back is Onozuma. Makes a good tackle. Nitro takes a shot. It's wide. Devour finds the pass, but Nitro can't convert. Another hot start for La Passion. This time, they don't convert.
And it was a perfect idea to try and lay that ball off to Nitro. Rounds, we're never going to read that chance. Onozuma certainly reads this one. Nitro has got a tough ball to send to the corner, especially to get those second touches. Onozuma gets a bit fancy, although the touch did end up rolling in that wrong direction. Devour not able to get the second. Marzi, no bump. It's Stake on that back wall. Onozuma is going to let this one roll across him, all for Renshiro.
Yeah, Marzi from the angle. Oh, I thought he was going to just take the shot there because Devour was facing towards the corner. And it's a difficult thing to backflip into the save. Onozuma misses out on that 50. Renshiro given time and space. 2 things you do not want to afford the flying fin. But Devour will save it away. Onozuma and Marzi having to work this out between themselves. Marzi's catch should have been more of a play forwards, I think. Onozuma down the left-hand side gets the better of Stake. Now he needs to try and get the better of Nitro. Difficult 50 to find. Onozuma turning the corner nicely. Shot on, saved away. All 3 members of La Passion right in the goal. And now the pass comes down, but no. Blocked away really nicely by La Passion. Picked up by Onozuma. Looking for the shot. It's wide.
Oh, but still can get an extra touch after coming off the ceiling. Renshiro can take to the skies. Didn't know Nitro was low. Devour is outplay. That's given some room to wiggle in. Marzi had to create that bit more, but just could not get that one to connect. Instead, Devour does it for us against Nitro. And now Marzi on the hook. Cuts past one. Doesn't jump too early, though. And that maintains his position, allows Onizuma to go on the overlap, and Marzi has been able to get back in time with 100 boost despite the demo nullifying that. Nitro though with a reset off the ceiling, goes for an Onizuma play. Onizuma will show you how those are done now.
Yeah. Not really. Does not win the 50 at all there. Marzi out of the corner. There's a chance for Devour. He's already found the top shelf once today. Will be denied on that occasion from Marzi. Onizuma down the field. Renshiro looking for the pass, and he gets there. Wow! That is ridiculous, and the reason that I'm getting excited about this one is because the pass doesn't really come from Onizuma. There's an extra touch from Stake, and yet Renshiro still reads where that ball's going to be. Wonderful anticipation of the play, rounds one up.
The reaction time is there, but still, Onizuma had to throw the wrench in the gears of that defense. They started to give way. They fell apart completely. It's a fantastic start for rounds. Nitro, oh my goodness. Again, adds to the content that rounds love to provide, but my favorite content is when Onizuma is clipping to Renshiro. But now Stake in the 1v1, he fought, but Renshiro manages to get back in time. Onizuma will skip past a teammate that's decimated, looks to land a bump himself. Instead, Renshiro can't force it through two players, and it's now all La Passion on the builder. Nitro's alone. Onizuma gives him a warm introduction. Stake, though, picks up from the pieces.
Absolutely credit to Stake on that whole movement there, because Stake in the first place is in a 1v2 in defense, and he still is able to win that out against the round's attack, and then converts into an opportunity down the other end of the field. Marzi, Stake had to be alert, had to adapt, and did. But yeah, Stake showing class in that play right there, and La Passion back in the game, back level. Stake plays it over to the back corner. Marzi looking for the pass down. Renshiro's waiting. Devour right there on the scene to turn him away.
You use that word, anticipation, beforehand. It's what decided that first goal for rounds. It's what's brought us to this equaliser as well. And a game so chaotic with the ball bouncing around so fast. You have to be readily available. Renshiro was, and Stake was enough to dodge the bumping rounds man. Renshiro lets this one fall to the corners. Marzi's already got 100 boost, so doesn't have to waste any moment. Just staying on that ground, can get a bit more verticals. Let's cut across yet again. Devour booms high, and I saw someone on the ceiling. It's Marzi this time. Renshiro on the half turn. Cuts nicely. It's off our back wall, and Onizuma wants to fill those gaps, but La Passion get that touch first.
I started to get visions of that OT goal that Renshiro scored in top 8 against Astronic just a week ago. And I thought maybe he was going to be able to replicate it. Didn't happen this time. Big pinch over to that far corner. Stake will collect. He is such a danger every time he gets on the ball. The clearance from rounds isn't good enough. 10 seconds to go. And now Onizuma drops it down to Marzi. He can't get in front of Stake. Once again, the last man back for La Passion. Once again, keeping them in the game. But it might not matter. No, that one's going to be blocked away. Renshiro keeps the play alive.
No.
Not for long. It's OT.
It was professional. It was reserved from Renshiro. He slammed on his brakes, could see the La Passion players were in front of him, and if he had got dunked in that occasion, which was going to be the obvious play to go for, of course, when you cannot hit ground, that could have been goal over instead. And OT is Onizuma, back to Marzi. The Reunion A connects, but a South African puts a stop. But there's a Finn still looking to keep this offense alive, but Stake will put that dagger through the heart.
Rounds have started OT really well, but they need to continue that pressure. Catch by Nitro is good. Marzi steals it from him, but who is there to make sure the backline doesn't get penetrated? That's going to be Stake. Renshiro off the left-hand side. He's got a real opportunity. Surely there's a follow-through. Marzi hits the crossbar. Onizuma coming through. He doesn't find anything. Stake doesn't have enough boost, surely, to make this work. He doesn't. Renshiro high to the sky. Devour waiting, but it's Nitro who gets the interception. Rounds should be 2-0 up in the series.
But the attack can still replay. Marzi make sure that it's kept in this third. A touchdown by Nitro, expecting him to boom it forward and chase. That's what Devour has created instead. Marzi knocks it right back. Renshiro's in this corner, plays very offensive, but that outlet pass ends up only finding an orange car on Azuma on his back wall. Beats him, the angle's there, not found.
Oh, it was very, very close though. Now the Passion are going to feel like they probably should be back in this series 1-1. It's not happened for them. Renshiro doesn't have a full tank, but he has enough to get it down to Onizuma. Oh, Devour's backflipped. Now there's a chance to break. But Devour just moving that forward. In fact, I don't think he even touched it. Marzi, given the opportunity, down the left side. Onizuma takes it into the corner. Devour still able to bring it away. No boost in the tank for Devour, so Renshiro will go up first. Stake taking the shot. Double commit on the back lines for round, but they make it work. Marzi gets an extra touch, plays it down the field. Nitro into the back corner. Renshiro just waiting on it, and again, that delay has actually cost Renshiro on that play, I think.
Center of the park is looking like no man's land. Every single team just seems to be dropping back as soon as they lose possession. Devour goes for two, and he will get his fee. Le Passion equal up the series, and it comes in style from the man you mentioned before.
Yeah, got to give him credit. That is an absolutely incredible play at arguably one of the most key points of the game. Because if Le Passion go 2-0 down in the series, you're going to be a little bit concerned, aren't you? You're going to start to think that maybe it's not your day. But look at those statistics. The shots specifically. 18 shots from rounds to the... I can't do maths quickly enough. 7 of Le Passion. That is absolutely ludicrous. 2 rounds players got as many shots individually as Le Passion got as a whole. I don't know about you, Pegasus, but that tells me rounds were in control of that game.
They certainly were, but there is only one stat line that truly matters, and that is the goals. Once the clock hits 0 seconds, the ball hits the ground, or of course, finding the back of the net in that OT, and there were chances right now.
Yeah.
There were chances. It was early in the OT. Round had clanged 2 that should have been on target. 1 comes off the crossbar. 1 is caught on the 50. Onizuma was beaten on that follow-up touch over himself, and that is going to be a bit heartbreaking for the team. But when you're down and in the dumps, you just have to remember, Rhino, that this is just a game, and in games you're supposed to have fun. Let's bring back the have fun meta for the remaining best of 3.
Yep, they're going to try. Onizuma won't get in front of Nitro, and now there's a really dangerous attack starting. But Devour decides not to take the shot. Now it's Marzi off the right side. Demo from Stake, and once again rounds at the mercy of those demos from the opposition. And Shiro pops it too high, and Nitro is able to capitalize. Quiet game from him last game. He's definitely going to want to step up to try and support his team in this one. The ball played into the middle. Devour taking it forwards. Renshiro clears away.
Down vote for Renshiro, gets more touches, beats Nitro. That's an early flip coming from him. Opened up space in the center, but there are still deep set players by Le Passion. And I am intrigued to see how the gameplay will settle, because it was very defensive, very cautious when we were approaching that overtime mark, especially from Le Passion.
Yeah.
But if they play a bit more front-facing and that whiplash starts to strike, rounds could have an opening to punish. Though Stake is confident on the front foot. Marzi doesn't let that one fall back across the net. Did still stay in a dangerous area, but round always having that extra player available for the clear.
I will say, I think that more defensive approach is the Stake effect, because Devour and Nitro are 2 players that are not especially defensively minded. But when you've got Stake on your team, he will be the one calling for calm, calling for sensible plays and high percentage shots. That's exactly what he gets here. Rounds scattered to the winds on defense again. 1-0 Le Passion.
So good at recognizing when the panic is starting to seep into the gameplay from the opponents. He knows that defensive game so well. He knows when to inflict that killer strike when it is his turn. And it is oftentimes you see him on the edge of a 6-yarder, ready to just put a shot across net at that awkward angle. It's how they get the first of the game. Marzi vote. Could have set up an equaliser. Oh, Nazuma's up from so far deep, and Lepassion didn't quite know what to do with it. Stake does get that save as the Lone Ranger in net. But Rounds haven't given up on this offense quite yet. They might be forced to, especially with Stake taking it across.
Yeah, now Devour back, but we know what he can do from these moments. Nitro, not sure whether it was a pass or shot. Either way, it was wide. And now, Marzi misses on the backboard. Nitro's going to take another shot, and Panic is going to start setting again for Rounds. They cleared down the heart of the field. Stake, quite lucky, really, that that ball wasn't on target, because if it was, I'm not sure he had the pace to get back and make the play. Demo from Nitro. But he won't be able to make the play on that ball either. And now Onizuma and Renshiro have to figure this out between themselves, and they do.
Nitro up yet again. Marzi got that first stop. Nitro keeps it within the centre of the park with Lepassion. Completely the advantageous side. Stake, that would have been a wondrous double tap to further extend their lead. Nitro again trying to do their best Devour impression, but the problem is they're not Devour, they're not Onizuma, they're not landing it this time. Stake will definitely look to try again. Bump lands, cuts across, but it is way, way wide of the mark.
Oh, Stake is so dangerous at any given moment, but the problem is you can't disregard the supporting cast either. Stake once again taking a shot. This time it's sent away on Azuma. All kinds of backwards, and literally in the end, Marzi, another miss on that back corner, and Shiro called to try and fix the problem. Played down the line, no one there. Lepassion looking like the team that has figured out the puzzle of the opposition. Marzi downfield will get some space. How long will Rounds be able to stay in this half? Because historically it's not been long. It might be long enough. Oh my goodness, Stake. How on earth do you get up to that?
Marzi is caught there on the shadow defense, but Stake again's on that outside, and you do just have this feeling whenever Stake is in the area that a goal could be soon to follow. Renshiro needs to inflict that same presence across his opponents. That infield pass, though, didn't include himself, and unfortunately didn't break the lines this time. Stake again just finding a way to test the defense in the most unlikely of circumstances. Onizuma pops it up towards that backboard, and maybe if it was any other player than Stake, the ball would have dribbled back into the centre.
There was a chance there, but clearance down the line. Devour misses. Chance for Onizuma. Plays it across the goal. And Rounds finally have their response. It's taken a long old time, but a misread from Devour leaves Stake stranded, and he can't get up to make the save in time. He's pulled off miracles so far this series. Needed one more there, couldn't get it. 20 seconds, 1-1.
It's in the top shelf from a player that has been top draw. Speaking of, Stake was the main threat. Devour looks for another second touch off the surface to close out of the game. Not yet. Marzi wants it in the centre which has been dominated by Lepassion in this game. That was not the case in the game beforehand. They've looked more offensive out of the gates. It wasn't maintained beforehand in overtime. We'll just have to see how that seeps out now, but it's a great start for Onizuma to get a start. He was our goal scorer, now looking to create all the tension. Renshiro does let it twang off with that 50.
A little bit dangerous there, but the clearance is in. There's a go-ahead goal.
And
Rounds get caught out on the transition again. Marzi on the left-hand side. The pass wasn't really strong enough. He wasn't able to catch it. He wasn't able to find a teammate. And Lepassion win their second OT in as many games. They are now on qualification point. Rounds have got to find something from deep within them to be able to beat this team that they are playing against.
Devour has been so clutch for Lepassion, and I do want to specify that word because I would say he was actually the quietest player on the pitch for those 5 minutes of regulation, but when the job needed to be done, he was there. I was impressed with Nitro defensively. I was impressed with Stake in all areas of the pitch, but for one time that Devour made sure to show himself it is the game winner. It's a wonderful redirect in a position where rounds were caught a bit too high up the pitch. But what needs to change in this next game, Ryan? Of course, we've got to have those scorelines start to tip in our favour. Now we are on that final life in this 2-0 round. It's that midfield presence.
Yeah.
It has all been La Passion, and that is unusual for the playstyle that rounds have played for 5 solid opens now.
Certainly is. And yeah, you really just expect to see a little bit more from them. This is a round side which we've already seen take a top 4 spot in the region. Right now, they don't look like the team that were able to take that feat in the last Open. This is a team that are playing a little bit scared, a little bit not confident about their own abilities. We need to go back to the feeling that we can beat anybody, and I know Renshiro will still be thinking that, but the rest of the team needs to be in that mindset as well, and I just don't feel that they are right now. This is a really dangerous start, but Marzi gets up well.
Well, Spooky and Gross look are going to be behind the players right now, and this is where they really earn their marbles. Renshiro with the grand beat. It's powerful across on Azuma with his redirect. It's how the Vow closed the last game. It's how Onizuma is going to open it up in the 4th.
Necessary goal for rounds, I feel. They really needed to start with a lead. Not done that since, what, game 1? And no, not even then. I'm pretty sure Le Passion scored first. It was 2 opening goals. So rounds now have a lead at least. Have something to hold on to. Force Le Passion to make a play and don't double commit in your own back line. Marzi moving down the left-hand side, looking for the flick, but who's there? It's Devour this time to prevent the play down the side, and that's a miss. Chance for Nitro moving across. Another double commit for rounds, even being 1-0 up. They're still not playing confident, cleared away by Onizuma, thankfully.
Back out by Onizuma towards that corner, and Shiro is available for the pounce, and there is another snake in the grass. It's Marzi. Not able to sink his teeth into the La Passion defense quite yet, but it's not as if they've had that antidote to hand. Still to be tested. Renshiro towards that backboard. It's caught so well by Steak, and his consistency at taking that control on the back wall and bringing it towards that corner. So rounds have to go 2 steps behind all of what they have built up in that offense. It cannot be understated how crucial that has been for La Passion's success so far. That booms across, and rounds once more put back another gear.
We talked about it in the previous game that Eli was the player who, if you're going to target someone, you need to target them. Well, in this game, it is very, very obvious who the player to target is, and it's that man on the ball now. Steak down the left side, looking for the bump, doesn't find it, but you just get the feeling every time he touches the ball, he's going to find a way through. That's waterfalling. Nitro, not the best play. Who is there again? It's Steak to push it to the side. And now Nitro actually won't be able to get the clearance backboard. Chance, no. Oh, hang on, Renshiro rises highest. Drop down, cleared away.
And it is Steak to get the clear on Azuma. He's just caught on the off angle there. Thought that ball was going to hit the ceiling at first. Now Steak has got the catch. He will turn it round. Waits for the bump. His control is unbelievable. And it has brought Le Passion back into the game. It's frankly kept them in the game as well.
Yeah. We talked about it again for Eli in the previous game. Why are we giving him space? Why are we giving the opportunity to make these kinds of plays? And listen, there was only 2 players back in that moment, and Marzi had jumped for one early. Unfortunately, he missed the opportunity. So, you know, what are you meant to do? The bump comes through on the goal line. Really nice play from the Passion. And now they are going to believe that they can go on and win this series right here and right now. Devour from the right-hand side takes the shot on the goal line, safe from Renshiro, and now Onizuma driving downfield. Steak needs to be dealt with. I don't think he has been. He certainly hasn't, and it gets pushed to the side.
And Onizuma, one of the only players that can still send my jaw to the floor when I see him take control. Nitro will go for a chance himself. The catch was really good, just couldn't get that follow-up he was looking for. And Shiro, that's a similar story. It's Marzi who'll be able to steal it from him instead. Onizuma is beaten with a very low tank. And now Renshiro with the full pitch to try and progress. And Marzi on his left-hand side, he 50s it across with Nitro. It is still equal at this 90-second mark. But I just don't want to see us keep playing in this game. It just takes one stake counter-attack for all our hard work to be for naught.
We've already seen how devastating those can be. Nitro, not a great touch. Renshiro collects. Ball onto the left-hand side. Devour lurking. Marzi, absolutely no momentum whatsoever. Gets a play on Azuma into the middle. Devour's catching on Azuma. Yeah, I don't think that was the best play for him either. Marzi gets around the side. Now this is on Azuma down the left. Looking to try and get that 100 boost. Doesn't. And now Renshiro in an awkward position. Does he stay or does he go? In the end, he stays. And now Azuma catches on the right side. Looks at the field. Doesn't see too much he likes.
And the offense is a promising sign for rounds, but it's really been the counter where they have been beaten in these past few games. It's what happened last time. There was no defender available. It was just a free read for Devour's stake. Has been demoed. That's what we're looking for. And Onizuma is up. Stake respawns, but he's got nothing of attack. It's off the back wall again. Renshiro can't reach Marzi. Certainly can. Is coming up off that ceiling. No one challenging off that backboard. Stake still somehow gets there and launches his man back in defense. 10 seconds of regulation. Nitro is here. Is the Iceman Devourer about? Yes, he is. Chases across against Renshiro. Onizuma brings the ball back forward, and La Passion allow the ball to hit the ground. It's OT. It's a must score for rounds.
Yeah, it is. But previous history with OT is not in rounds' favor. Will that play on their minds a little bit? The inexperience of Marzi and Onizuma. You think maybe it might. Stake drops it down. That man again. Devour. Double. Dropping down off the crossbar and cleared away. But you just had visions of the previous two overtimes with that man again on the ball. Luckily, this time it's sent clear. Renshiro collects off the ceiling. Drops it down. Isn't going to get there, but Marzi is. That's going to bring us to game 5.
It's a great setup from Renshiro. Realizes that space up in the vertical plane. La Passion had the ground completely covered until the second touch forced him out, and Marzi was readily available. Players of inexperience in Onizuma and Marzi, but my goodness, how they have grown through these two splits.
Oh, goodness gracious. That was a little bit too close for my comfort, I think, Pegasus. Marzi makes it work in the end, but you just got the impression, as I say, with that Devour drop down, there was a real opportunity for La Passion to win it in overtime as well. Both teams are fighting, scratching, clawing. This is a very even game, and I love to see it, but notice the key at that overtime. Who is not back? Who is not defending? The Spaniard. Stake over to that far side, getting the 100 boost. He's not in position to support his team, and suddenly the defense crumbles. That is the solution for round.
It is insane how much one player can really impact the defense of a team that has two others that should be able to pick up that position, but his consistency certainly does go amiss in every single one of these plays. But it must be said, this is a roster formed from the Frankensteins of other dead rosters after Open 5. And it has got me thinking, what if this was the team from the start? I actually really like the way these three players play with each other, but you could, of course, bog that one all down to a certain honeymoon period. And this is a party-rich round. Look to crash. One game to decide who will qual the highest seeding from Group B. Rounds versus La Passion, the last dance.
Momentum with rounds, but confidence you feel will be pretty even across both teams. The Passion will know that they were close to closing it out in Game 4. They couldn't get it over the line. They might have a chance here in Game 5, especially with that drop-down pass. Really nicely played. Chance at the near post! Nitro opens the scoring. La Passion 1-0 up.
You could feel it. As soon as they got a flow in this offense, and there was that space outside the box, Le Passion are never wasteful with those chances. Stake opened up the play with that final bump, and not a single player in SSA was going to miss that strike. The ball heads towards the Le Passion half after that kickoff, but still, Devour readily available to take possession in his own hands. Stake stands beneath him, passes down, a shot is wide.
It is Onizuma being offered the boost, but he takes the ball instead. Marzi through on the left, Stake intercepting, but Onizuma still getting in front, and now Marzi and Renshiro working together, dropping down from Onizuma, but once again, a lack of awareness of the game state. Another demo coming through from the Bastion, and now they're looking for the pass to the back post. So many bumps on the goal line. I don't know who's bumping who at this point. And Onizuma breaks free down the heart of the pitch, but he doesn't get the 50 victory that he was looking for. Still an opportunity. Renshiro gets a dunk. Nothing more.
Nitro wants that pass across, and I did see a blue car available. Marzi, though, didn't fancy taking the risks, and responsibility has to be taken from the player of Rounds to keep that offense moving, because that's why they're losing every single midfield fight. It is a test of your bravery, of your general risk assessment. And Rounds haven't had that. Onizuma are off for 50 with Nitro. That one felt like he should have failed the risk assessment, but this is still Onizuma we're talking about.
Yeah, his risk assessments look a little bit different to everybody else's. Nitro in the corner, just messing around with it a little bit, not able to break downfield. Now, Stake, well, he won't take too many touches to be able to do just that. Popped high, Marzi gone ahead, looking for a double. Actually, it's just going to leave it for Renshiro. Shot not powerful enough. Finds the goalkeeper, and now Devour on the right side. If he gets a favorable bounce, which he does, he should score! Devour! That really was a way to put this game to bed. But no, it's still awake. It's 9 o'clock. It's still playing video games. 2 minutes 20 to go.
Well, you can thank your lucky stars, but certainly not your chickens. They haven't hatched yet. You've still got to get a goal back in this game at a minimum. Devour on the turn. That's a wonderful first 50. The second is strong, but Marzi is faster. Onizuma has nothing, but takes the time to get to 100. Devour is bumped in the ball, and that was the power. But he was looking to generate the La Passion. High press starts to plant down, but that backflip is going to delay any opportunities. Devour was caught out of book as well. Onizuma on the inside, no blue cards. Devour passes it away.
I mean, Stake is once again proving to be the difference maker in this game and series. Onizuma not giving the opportunity to get a second touch. Cleared away by Marzi. Won't follow through. Knows Nitro's likely to get there first. Wanted some boost that he won't find. So back corner goes Marzi, takes it around one, gets the better of Stake. Onizuma breaks the lines, get it on target, and we score. That's the one. 1 minute 20 to go. Rounds back level.
They've been looking for a moment like that for so long. It's our turn for the counter. It's 2 perfect 50s. And Onizuma makes sure to remain involved. You can tell there was a bit of frustration in his play in this game so far. He's been that braver player to stay up the pitch, pick up those 100 boosts, go for bumps, go for goal. Renshiro's found it. Rounds take the lead.
What happened here? On that right-hand wall for Le Passion, left hand for Rounds. A complete whiff. A gift from the gods. Rounds with 1 minute and 15. Now in the driver's seat. But we know the kickoffs have been a weakness for Rounds recently. The clearance from Onizuma needs to be strong. Goodness gracious, is it well played.
Renshiro down to Marzi. Marzi going for those fakes. The ground game, the strongest part. Of counter though. Where is that heading? Renshiro pinched it off the post, now doubles up alongside Onizuma, but I'm not looking for any crocodile queuing up to this play. Just get it out, sink your teeth into him. Nitro does get there in time. I thought that was breaking through. Still 40 seconds to hold.
And hold is the right word. Stake gonna make it difficult. Onizuma stands up to the test. Down the side, Nitro beaten out of the corner. One for the road. Renshiro, his second of the game. Rounds 30 seconds away from a 3-0 Swiss.
The captain sets sail for the GSL. And it's 29 seconds. They're losing La Passion in the horizon. But you can see them hoist. They'll try their very best. But Demo comes through. Marzi just has to sneak it behind Devour. He does do so. It's 4-1 rounds. It's everything you could ever dream of. The curse is truly broken.
Say it with me, chat. Not even close.
Close.
Not a problem. 4-1, 20 seconds. Game done. Wrap it up. With a bow on it as well. Goodness me. They love to make us work for it, don't they? Ball off that corner.
Really
Marzi sends it away, but 3 goals in 10 seconds is just not going to happen. And now Marzi wants to put the icing on the cake. He's not going to be able to. Stake pushes away. Early leave from one of the players on La Passion. That's Devour who leaves early. Not happy with the way that that final game ended. And why would you be? It was rounds all the way.
Well, Devour's not going to be the only one to leave early because we leave early out of the Swiss. A round 3 finish as perfect as you could ask for. La Passion feel their first 3 game defeats in that series alone. Rounds are just at higher level. They're guaranteed a top 4 seed heading into that GSL stage. They said that that was going to be their target for the end of this Open, to repeat the feats that they achieved in Open 5, and already they have exceeded at this mark.
And you know what that also means? How important this is from this moment is that I believe it is now incredibly unlikely to have to play either Pioneers or 5 Fears to qualify in the upper bracket. I'm not saying it's definitely going to happen, but from memory, it's incredibly unlikely. And how important that could be in GSL next week. Goodness.
I used to pray for times like this one. I used to pray for times like this. My goodness, seeing that series winner rounds is certainly gorgeous, but not as gorgeous as what you're about to see on this next scene. In that wonderful green box, as high as you could call for, qualified next to only Pioneers. It's rounds with the 3-0 record.
We called for it. We called for it. We called for a 3-0. We said it was the best opportunity that rounds would have to go through Swiss with a record like this. And Pegasus, they answered the call. They said, yeah, don't worry about it, lads. We got you. And rounds will take the 2nd seed from Group B forwards into GSL, which means that we get to end the stream early and have dinner. What a time.
Oh, it's a great, great sign. But of course, the team has played well, and their results are judged as a full roster. But we like to play our own little game here on a round stream. So, rounds would like your help, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, your help. Those of you that have watched this stream today at crowning your MVP. Will it be Renshiro, or will it be one of the Reunion A for Onozuma and Marzi? This is one of those days, right now, where I'm actually completely stumped. I don't know who I want to pick today. I think the easy choice for most people might be Renshiro, but Marzi and Onozuma had their moments where they completely carried the day. I mean, Series 2 was all about Agent M, and Onozuma had a game which was completely decided by his hands in every single series.
I definitely have an answer. For me, there was one player today for rounds who might not have been the most flashy, might not have been able to bring out the most mechanics, but was steady and solid in every movement, had faith in the way that they were moving around the field, had brilliant positioning in those moments that it was required, brought the team together, it felt like at times, got those passes going, got those blocks in the way of the opposition. For me, my MVP is Marzi.
That's completely fair. And I felt like that was the direction you were going to. I think for me, I'm actually going to go for the other reunion. I'm going to go for Onozuma. And it's only because of that final series, specifically where times were tougher. The midfield battle was not getting won. It felt like there was a bit of lack of stepping up from a lot of the players when it came to that midfield line. And then in game 3 to 5, I just saw a light out of Onozuma. He was constantly that player all the way up the pitch. Of course, he did his usual Onozuma things where he was going for these balls that had us a little bit worried at the moment, but that's what the gameplay really needed at that time. It was a bit too safe, it's too easy to read, and when you're against a player like Stake, who has got such a good read of the gameplay in front of him, you need to play him off course. You need to be chaotic in that final third, and for me, Onozuma gave me that. But I believe I agree with you. For me, Marzi is probably a close second there. He was extremely valuable, especially, like I said, in that second series.
And I want to give credit to the 2 Reunion A players as well, because for most of this season, we have spoken about it being difficult for rounds to perform when Renshiro is not playing up to scratch or up to the level that we believe that he can. Today, I don't believe Renshiro did play up to the level that we expect to see from the Finnish captain. Don't get me wrong, I think he was still very, very good, but we have seen him perform better in these moments and on these days. And so it was required, in order to win both of those 2 last series, for the Reunion A boys to step up. And goodness, did they. Both looked incredible. Both looked like there's a reason that we've been talking about how their level has been growing and growing and growing, and their floor has increased exponentially since we started watching this round side. Their peak is still increasing, and so it's really nice to be able to talk about rounds as a full unit. I think all 3 of the players played to a very similar level today for rounds, and that's how they got the job done.
And Renshiro, of course, the bar is set so high for him now. Once you do start scoring, 1v3 series decider in OT on mainstream, all of a sudden there's that target on your back now, and that's how you want to be playing every single series for rounds. And I'm sure that we will see that for what's going to be, I can't believe I'm actually saying this, Rhino, the final RDR prod stream of the season. That's going to be next Friday for the GSL, with the best seeding that Rounds has had for the entire season. Yes, that includes even pre-Onozuma and Marzi. This has been an absolute pleasure for this entire season. I know that this isn't the end quite yet, but I do just want to extend my thanks over to Rounds, and that's the players, and that is the staff behind them as well, because they have been such a great team. Such a great group of people to be around, and it truly feels like this is an organization that is trying to do it properly.
Yeah, it really does. And we cannot thank Rounds enough for giving us the space to be able to do what we love to do, and that's why we're here. That's why we do it, right? We really enjoy this team. We believe in the project that is Rounds, and they've given us the ability to follow this roster, which, there you go. You can see it now. Oh boy, the Swiss stage completed for Rounds, but there's still 2 whole rounds to go after this. Oh my goodness me. As you say, we used to pray for times like this. Look at the top of your screen, qualifying Pioneers and Rounds together at the same time. Hell yes, let's go.
And I just want to point out here, Unity in the 1 and 2 bracket, I believe they were the 3rd or 4th seed heading into this competition. Oh, you can see on the left hand side, they were the 4th seed heading into this Swiss, and they only got that win in that first round. So it is pretty brutal for them, unfortunately, that they end up in that spot. But against Mzansi's Magicians, as much as they can be bracket killers, as we have come close to experiencing at previous points of the season, I'll definitely be keeping my eye on that game as well. White Rabbit Gaming versus Astronic. That is building up to be a classic.
Yeah, very excited to see who's able to take that victory. And I mean, what a victory actually for White Rabbit. 3-2 in the 1-1 round. That's a really, really good result for them against
Marine
Lamasia.
Region.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Marine Region down in the 1-2s. That's not something we expected to see either. I mean, there's a lot of mess going on around the Swiss stage. But Pegasus, honestly, you don't need to worry or care about it. We're already qualified. Great success.
Job is done. We clean ourselves up, ladies and gentlemen, dust ourselves off after the war that was the mainstream, the Championship Sunday in Open 5. But the long-term project still has a long way to go. Of course, that will extend its way past RLCS 2026. But let's give this the perfect sending off. Let's give RDR Prod the perfect ending as well. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you're following the round stream with, of course, notifications checked, because we will return for the main event to return back to the mainstream and hopefully pick up a top 4 or more. We'll see you then.
What if I told you, from now on, the only thing you need for gaming is this desk? Uneven Base is a complete esports setup. It includes a powerful computer, keyboard, mouse, and monitor. All in one, lightweight build. Uneven Base is foldable, portable, and easy to set up. Perfect gaming experience wherever you want. And of course, yeah, there's RGB. Uneven Base. Now it's about you.
Siis mikä voi olla niin tärkeää, että äijä ei näy 2 viikkoon? Äijä on tullut takaisin. No niin, let's go. Pitkästä aikaa pelikenttä.
Tervetuloa Prozoneen.
Tervetuloa Prozoneen.
Tervetuloa Prozoneen. Vaikka näkö arjessa toimisi hyvin, se ei aina kerro koko tarinaa. Pelissä, pienilläkin piilevillä seikoilla, voi olla ratkaiseva merkitys. Onneksi ne piilevätkin seikat on korjattavissa.
Six, 7.